Alpharetta High School. They have been absolutely gracious to fit us in here at playonsports.com to get us a good spot so we can bring the game to you, streaming live on the internet, and we are very happy to bring it to you. We're going to take a very short break right now, and when we come back, we will have the kickoff as we get set to go. So we'll be right back for the kickoff in just a moment.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Alpharetta, Georgia for the playonsports.com Game of the Week Friday night football action. It is the pregame show coming to you live from ACVB Field in beautiful Alpharetta, Georgia, about 25 miles north of the city of Atlanta, bringing you the Game of the Week tonight along with my partner, Chris King. This is Kevin Beck, and we are about to go with the Alpharetta Raiders hosting the Milton Eagles, and this is the season opener for both teams. Chris, a lot of excitement. This is a very, very big game. Some big teams here. Big high school spirit in this area, and it shows by the crowd, the media outlets here, and the excitement level is palpable as these teams get ready to kick off 2012.
Neighboring schools make this even a bigger game. I think, once again, the difference between one side of the highway and the other side of the highway, a little bit of history involved here between these two schools. They've only played each other 6 times, 4 wins for Milton and 2 for Alpharetta. However, the Raiders have won the last 2 meetings, including a nail-biter, 20-19 last year. And adding to the hometown flair, maybe a little mayoral bet going on. The 2 mayors of the communities, the mayor of Milton and the mayor of Alpharetta, have a little verbal bet going on, and they both have been chosen as honorary captains tonight. So that's the kind of flair you get when 2 neighboring schools collide, as these 2 will tonight, Kevin.
It is just about as collegiate an atmosphere as you will find anywhere in high school football here at Raiders Stadium in Alpharetta. Raiders coming off a big season last year. Milton not so much. They're struggling to turn their winning ways around, if you will, over there across the highway. And they've got a very tall task here tonight to take on Alpharetta at home. It's a pretty tall order, Chris.
Alpharetta 9-2 last season. The defending 6-5A, now 6-6A region champions, and Milton coming off a 4-6 season. But Kevin, those are just numbers now. You wipe those off, you got 2 rivals. Anything's possible. Both teams return a lot of talent, and we are looking forward to some great football here in North Fulton County tonight.
A very hot day in Atlanta this afternoon. The sun is beginning to set behind the main grandstands here, and it looks like it's going to be a very pleasant night for football here in Atlanta. Milton won the toss, and they will defer until the second half, so we will get a look at that Alpharetta offense to start this one out. And I'm looking forward to some of these guys like A.J. Bush, the quarterback over there, Chris, even in warm-ups. Very impressive there. A wide receiving core that is very talented, very fleet of foot. And one of the things we'll probably talk about a lot tonight, could be the X factor in this game, is the kicking game. We watch these guys warm up. Both sides of the football, very, very good kicking games, both punters and place kickers on Milton and Alpharetta.
And let's not forget the big uglies. An offensive line for Milton that averages about 275 to 280 pounds across the line. So look for Milton to try to control the ball with their line of scrimmage and their offensive line. Guys by the name of Josh Harris, Corey Helms, Eason Fromian, and Nick Wilson, who's a big kid. He's about 6'3", 280 pounds. He's just a sophomore. Kevin, the excitement is almost unbearable.
Well, I'll tell you what, we had a lot of big guys on the field last week for our game over at Lakeside, but what happened, Chris? The fatigue factor got them, and toward the fourth quarter, or end of the third quarter, fourth quarter starting, they really wore down. So they've got the big guys down here, a very hot night. We're going to see how the conditioning from preseason is going to hold up here tonight as we get set to go.
And as always, you and I have different views. I like to have my defense on the field to start out. You prefer the ball.
I like to be in control of that football, my friend. Christopher Mills doing the kicking duties for Milton, and we are underway on the playonsports.com Friday night game of the week. Alpharetta hosting Milton. And that will be a touchback. Chris, there you go, right off the bat. A touchback. Take that return game out of the elements here. Milton doing their job right off the bat. Check one box. Mission accomplished to start the game.
And when Alpharetta comes to the line, I think one of the guys we're going to be looking at is an exciting quarterback by the name of Josh Dobbs. He was talked about as one of the key players for the Raiders to try to get things going. Also look for guys named Carlos Burse, who's going to play at one wideout. You'll see a lot of Blake Rowelson. You know, these names, look for these guys. Andre Harton, I think they're going to spread the ball out and try to throw the ball down the field.
And it looks like they will come out with a spread offense, 4 wideouts. And keep your eye on Julian Macon back there, this lone setback. Dobbs from the shotgun, first snap of the ball game. Going to try left side, and that will be Julian Macon, just a couple there. And he is swarmed under after a gain of 2. Second down and 8 coming up for Alpharetta. As we said, Chris, sun setting behind us, so that most of the field right now is in shade. It should be a perfect night for Friday night football here in Atlanta after a very warm week that we've had here in North Georgia. Second down, and we'll call it 7 now after that carry by Macon. They're going to throw across the middle, and plenty of room to run. Daniel Clements on the receiving end all the way down to the 37-yard line, so that gets them a first down, moves the chains, and they're going no huddle.
Trying to force the pace and force the intensity early on, Kevin.
Staying with the spread offense. And again, it's Dobbs from the shotgun. Fires over the middle, wide open, down to the 46-yard line. Grant Smith in on the tackle. Carlos Burse again, Chris, you mentioned him in the open. And if he's going to be that wide open all night, they're going to have to make some adjustments in that short secondary for Milton, going again with the no huddle. Stephon Perry gets the carry. They try the inside, not much happening there. It's about the 42-yard line.
First attempted run of the night as we see some substitutions.
Well, Alpharetta comes out in that no huddle, so they're going to have to make those adjustments over there on the Milton sideline to try to get some guys a breather over there. Right now they are running basically a high intensity, high rate of turnover offense on the Alpharetta side of the football. Now they go 2 setbacks on either side of Dobbs. They try to go left side one more time. Nothing happening there. Julian Macon is driven back. Looks like the football came out. Let's see if they spot it down.
Looks like the white hat pointed as if it was still 4th down.
Yeah, I think a little premature celebration over there on the Milton side of the football. And the referees are indicating 4th down.
Kevin, give credit to number 52, senior defensive lineman Carl Lawson. He got in there and really caused havoc. And you have to give credit where credit is due. Milton withstood a pretty good barrage there. Alpharetta came out and got a couple of quick first downs, but Milton stood their ground.
Well, Coach, at this point in time, you've moved the football pretty well. You've got Milton on your heels. It's 4th down and about the length of a football near midfield, so possibly a time to think about going for it early. Keep the drive alive.
Well, at least thinking about it, as they will call a timeout.
It looked like that was an official's timeout. They haven't taken any timeouts off the scoreboard. Early in this one, Alpharetta hosting Milton. Great to have you with us on PlayOnSports.com. Friday night game of the week from Alpharetta, Georgia. Along with Chris King, this is Kevin Beck. Our crew, Jason and Jamel, doing a wonderful job, as always, getting us set up and making us sound and look good. Well, making us look good is a little harder than making us sound good, but they do the best they can. So it looks like they want to bring the chains out for a measurement here, Chris. That was the official's timeout. And that gives Milton a good chance to talk about the quick huddle, the hurry up that they're facing right now. They're going to make some adjustments, and hopefully they can make some substitutions over there.
Yeah, I was going to say it also gives them a time to take a breath, grab a little water. As what are we looking at? About a football length short of the first down. You've got to go for it.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to run the offense right back on. Here comes Dobbs with the first unit offense. It looks like they will go for it in 4th, and as Chris said, about half a football length for the first down. Opening drive of the football game. Milton won the toss, elected to defer. And now the first small pivotal moment of the football game is 4th down and inches for Alpharetta. Dobbs under center, and he is going to keep it and fight his way forward. Looks like second effort's going to have it for him. And based on the official spot, they're around the 47-yard line. They have converted there. So first down and 10 again for Alpharetta.
So the Raiders get to reload, so to speak. And Kevin, they're not wasting any time. They're standing over the ball. They're waiting for the clock to start, and they are going to open up and move this ball down the field as quick as they possibly can.
Really putting the pressure on that Milton defense from the first snap of the football. They haven't had a huddle yet over there on the Alpharetta side of the ball. Dobbs to throw, and he's got a man down to the 44-yard line. Looks like Adam Schildhammer on the receiving end of that one. And that'll be good for a pickup of about 8.
Pretty good throw and a pretty good catch that time. There was a linebacker that was all over Schildhammer, but he was able to pull that ball in, and Dobbs did a really good job of threading the needle that time.
And they're not getting to Dobbs, and it looks like Milton's lining up off sides from this angle, and they're going to call that before the snap of the football. That was obvious right there in the interior line. As I was saying, Chris, doesn't look like Dobbs has even had a hand in his face right now, and if they're going to give him that kind of time to throw the football with those 4 or 5 wide receivers out in that set, they're going to carve Milton up. So they're going to have to get some pressure on the quarterback on that Milton side, or it's going to be a long night for the defense in red.
And Kevin, Dobbs looks like the kind of athlete that if he does have a white shirt in his face, he may be able to run out of the pocket and create something for himself.
Senior leadership, always what you want to have in that offensive huddle right now, and Dobbs does bring that to the team. So the offside penalty against Milton moves the chains. And once again, the hurry-up offense by the Raiders. And here is Dobbs to throw. Again, no pressure. Now he's going to roll near side. Wow. If that ball's on the money, Blake Rowlandson is running for quite a while, Chris. So that's on Dobbs right there.
But he did a good job, as I said before. He saw a little bit of a pressure, and he rolled to the right to give himself a little bit more time, just threw the ball behind his receiver.
Felt that backside pressure and did move into the open space. Nice job there. And once again, no huddle for the Raiders here on second down and 10 from the Milton 39-yard line.
Eagle defense needs to make something happen.
Once again, the spread, no huddle offense. Dobbs to throw once again, looking in the direction of Blake Rowlandson, and that's off his fingertips. Looked like a pretty catchable ball over there. Bring up a third down and 10.
Yeah, that time looks like Rowlandson tried to run before he had the football. He had created a little bit of distance between he and the cornerback.
So Alpharetta really just, they're helping out Milton in this possession right now, kind of stalling at the Milton 40-yard line. Dobbs all kind of time to survey the defense from the shotgun. Now he's going to feel some pressure and scramble out of there. And Chris, just like you said, boy, he is athletic all the way down to the 29-yard line. He hits his butt, slides in, and that will be good enough for a first down. So another element of the Alpharetta offense that we're going to see here tonight. And right now, those defensive coordinators from Milton, they better be punching those calculators and scratching on those whiteboards because Alpharetta is loaded back there.
Great pressure from the outside by Milton on both sides, but just an athletic play by Dobbs to step up, recognize he had some room up the middle, and create some positive yardage.
Wide out screen, they're going to run it to the near side.
Good second effort.
Carlos Burst, that's the first look we've had at him, Chris. We talked about him in the open, and he's very close to another Alpharetta first down around the 16-yard line. Looks like it will be good enough for that Alpharetta first down. Wow, they are really just marching down the field on this Milton defense with this no huddle, Chris. And those guys hands on hips over there on the Milton side of the football right now.
They were able to get a substitution into the ball game, but just one. You're right, they are looking a little bit fatigued early on.
Dobbs from the shotgun once again, and they're going to go left side. Julian Macon tried to make something happen out there, and finally some pursuit out there on the corner brought him down. Looks like first man to get there, Gerald Knight, the senior defensive back, bringing him down.
Good pursuit from the outside, forcing the offense back to the inside.
Signals coming in from the sideline for the Alpharetta offense. Everybody looks over to the sideline, then they have their assignments. And they are back and ready to go on the far hash this time. Dobbs directing traffic, now looking back over toward the sideline one more time for an adjustment there. Milton needs a play. Alpharetta in the red zone. Dobbs under pressure. Throws behind his intended receiver, looking for Andre Harton over there and it will be incomplete. Make it 3rd down and 8 coming up for the Raiders.
Kevin, a couple of errant throws, but does Alpharetta not look like a team? They don't look like a team that's just starting out their first game of the season. They look like a team that's played together for a couple of years. They've got a lot of seniors on that offensive line. They've got a lot of seniors in their skill positions, and they're really doing a good job.
3rd down and 7. Dobbs dumps it off near side. And Rodney Morris is going to be very close to another 1st down. And he's going to be down about the 6-yard line. That's going to be very close. They might need to measure this one, Chris. But again, Dobbs with all kind of time to survey the football field.
What do you call those yak yards after the catch? Give credit where credit is due to Morris. He caught the ball about 3 or 4 yards from the 1st down flag, but he did a good job of keeping his body moving and diving forward to try to make it really, really close.
And once again, they're going to call an official's timeout to bring the chains across the football field.
And the 2 official timeouts that have happened on the field are about the best things that have happened to the Milton Eagles defense, because they've been able to get a breath. But right now, Kevin, very, very impressive offensive start for the home team from Alpharetta.
And I guess the question I would ask, Chris, is did Milton know that this is a no-huddle, hurry-up type of offense that Alpharetta runs? I would think that in North Atlanta, where football is a religion, that there's not too many surprises going on the football field. But it is really working against Milton right now. This no-huddle hurry-up is working to perfection for Alpharetta.
Well, as I said, they played each other 6 times, and it's a 4-2 advantage for Milton, but Alpharetta winning the last 2 games, including a 20-19 game last year. So that game was really tight last year, and you've got to think there can't be that much difference between last year's team and this year's team. If nothing else, it looks like the Alpharetta team is a little bit more experienced as they bring a lot of juniors and seniors to the football field.
Gain on the pickup was good enough for an Alpharetta 1st down, and they will go 1st and goal from the Milton 6-yard line. 3 backs now with Dobbs in the backfield. Looking for the end zone, corner pattern, juggled and caught. A great catch. Rodney Morris.
Very impressive 80-yard drive that time. Alpharetta forcing the pressure, moving the ball, no huddle, mixing things up. Mostly passing, but threw a couple of runs in there. And the home team strikes first.
Again, Chris, plenty of time to throw the football for Dobbs back there. He just threw it up. It was a jump ball situation in the corner of the end zone, and Morris just wanted it more. And Alpharetta takes the initial possession of the football game, 80 yards. And the extra point is good.
So, Kevin, it'll be interesting to see how Milton reacts to that very impressive drive by Alpharetta. We talked in the pregame just a bit about the large offensive line for Milton, and during the warm-ups, about 45 minutes before kickoff, it looked like Milton was going to play maybe sort of a wishbone or a split-back type offense. So we may end up seeing almost the entire opposite type of offense when Milton gets the football.
7 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first quarter. That drive took a bunch of time off, and Chris, except for the 4th down and goal, the offense was really never tested there on the Alpharetta side of the football. So right now, it's going to be up to the Milton offense, as you said, to answer back and make a statement here.
Kevin, with the type of offensive explosion that Alpharetta has shown early in this ballgame, it's very important that when Milton gets a football, they need to answer, because if they give it back to Alpharetta and Alpharetta puts another quick 7 on the board early in the game, that puts you in even a tougher position if you're going to run the type of offense that we think Milton's going to bring to the football field.
All right, so the first offensive series of the season for Milton is right around the corner. Trayvon Polk and Peyton Barber back to receive for the Milton Eagles. Thomas Waller on to kick off after knocking the extra point through for the Alpharetta Raiders. Not much wind to speak of tonight, Chris. I don't think the kicking game is going to be affected either way. I don't think there's an advantage to working either direction of the football field. The American flag to our right is basically hanging limp. Just a gorgeous night for football here to kick off the 2012 season in Alpharetta.
And an incredible crowd here we're right above the home stands, and they are full, and a really, really good crowd supporting the visitors from Milton.
A sea of black cheering on their Raiders, and it looks like it is going to be a touchback. Very nicely done by Waller once again. So they've answered with a touchback there, so they did what they had to do on special teams. So now Milton will have to go 80 yards to answer.
Kevin, you mentioned earlier about the kickers. It's so much of an advantage to any team who has a kicker that puts the ball in the end zone, because with all these 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, one of those guys grabs the ball in front of the goal line, they're going to try to make something happen. But if you force the offensive team to start at the 20-yard line, it really kind of puts them at a little bit of a disadvantage.
A.J. Bush, the quarterback for the Milton Eagles. He goes into the shotgun. Going to give it to number 1, Trayvon Polk. He works the right side, gets around the corner for a gain of about 5. And he'll be run out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So some speed back there showing early. He looks like the prototypical scat back there, Chris. Small guy, plenty of speed, lots of moves, and going no huddle on the other side. So touche, Milton. Here we go. No huddle offense on the Eagles side of the football. 2nd down and 5. Peyton Barber in the backfield. He gets the handoff, and he will struggle forward for a couple of yards.
The ball carrier for the Eagles, number 25.
Bryce Gross on the tackle for the Raiders.
He picks up 3 yards.
Well, Kevin shows what I know.
Tackle made by the Raider, number 42,
I'm thinking they're going to hunker down and 3 and 4 yard down the field, so should be a pretty exciting ball game.
Well, interesting that both teams go to the no huddle right out of the box here. Barber again, right side. He turns the corner. So it looks like they're showing us the speed on tap back there in the Milton backfield. Stops the clock and moves the chains. First down, Milton.
Run out of bounds by number 25, Julian Macon.
And Chris, you got to figure a lot of these kids know each other. They're probably friends. They probably go to the movies together or whatever kids do these days. There's a lot of competition down there on the field. This crosstown rivalry heating up. And we'll have whistles before the snap. Okay, so a couple of end runs showing the speed, whereas Alpharetta came out throwing the football. So a little different style, a little different personality from the Milton team. A.J. Bush, the junior quarterback for the Milton Eagles.
No penalty on the play, 1st and 10 from the 36.
Barber and Polk in the backfield with Bush. It's going to be Polk this time, near side.
Out of room.
And we got a flag down in the area of a block in the back, Chris. So I'm going to refrain from praise on this one until we sort it out. Good news is we've only seen a couple of flags down on the field, whereas last week it was just littered with yellow and never could get any continuity going in the football game. Whereas tonight, a little bit of rhythm back and forth, a little ebb and flow, little tempo, and the holding penalty will bring it back. So the nice run is erased for the Milton Eagles.
Polk did a really good job getting to the outside. And Kevin, it looked as if the holding penalty was behind the play. Polk had already passed where the infraction happened, so that's a really, really tough break for
Placed
Milton.
at the Eagle 32-yard line. 1st down and 14 yards to go for a first.
So instead of a first down near midfield, Milton has a tall order. 1st down and 13, make it 14 now from their own 32-yard line. Milton goes back to shotgun with Bush. And they're going to try inside with Barber. Nothing happening there. No gain on the play.
Big Elijah York in on the tackle for the Raiders.
Senior linebacker over there. They got some pretty good size in that defensive line as well, Chris. The big guys over there on Milton trying to move them out of the way. Pretty much a stalemate there. And we'll call it no gain on the play. 2nd down and 14. Clock running 5:50 to play in the first quarter. Alpharetta on top 7-0.
Kevin, that was really the first time Milton has tried their luck up the middle, and they were not successful.
Bush to throw. First time we've seen him throw the football. He's going to flare it out into the flat.
Good speed.
Trayvon Polk showing those wheels, close to a first down. Wow. When he gets out to the corner, Chris, he is really on the move. He has a great second gear when he gets out in the flat. Nice throw there by Bush, not to hit him in stride.
And he really ran right by the junior defensive back, Chase Stratton, and got positive yards. 2nd and whatever you pretty much want to do, 3rd and whatever you want to do here, Kevin.
3rd and less than a football here for Milton
third down.
Don't want to get too
Third and
fancy
short
here. Just
for
go ahead and
Milton.
pick up the first down and get back into your offensive rhythm. First possession of the football game for Milton. And it's going to be a keeper, Bush, across midfield. And he will have a Milton first down. Good ball action back there. Good ball fake by the junior quarterback. And that'll be good enough for Milton to move the chains there, too. So after what could have been a demoralizing first drive by Alpharetta, Milton has come back and really pounded their chest, too, Chris. Doing a nice job here moving the chains, overcoming the big penalty on the nice run. And now the quarterback takes it on his own and picks up a nice chunky yardage to move the chains. So Milton right now not intimidated in the big Raiders Stadium with all the black and silver around.
Yeah, Bush doing a really good job recognizing that the defense for Alpharetta was spread all over the field and was easily able to find a gap up the middle and get the first down.
From the 49-yard line of Alpharetta. Going to give it to number 25 another time. Peyton Barber gets the call. And he's knocked out of bounds around the 40-yard line. Good pickup of 9 by Barber.
Kevin, I'm impressed with these backs for Milton early on, doing a really good job. Trayvon Polk doing a good job. Peyton Barber getting a nice chunky yardage.
And it's really pulling those linebackers up toward the line of scrimmage, Chris. You maybe wonder if it's going to be time for Bush to air one out here soon, but they're going to keep it on the ground another time. And that's going to be very close to another Milton first down. Number 3 on the carry, Michael Schweinbeck.
Michael Schweinbeck, he's taken down and combined on the tackle by number 99, Naeem Mustafa.
There's a name for you. Initial tackle made by number 99, Naeem Mustafa.
He did a nice job there of preventing the first down. It'll be third down and about half a yard for the Milton Eagles here. Trying to keep their first drive alive. Alpharetta opened the football game with an 80-yard drive, and it was capped off by a beautiful 6-yard juggling catch by Morris from Dobbs in the corner of the end zone to put Alpharetta on top.
Third and short.
Milton trying to answer with third down and short at the Alpharetta 39-yard line. 3:53 remaining in the opening quarter from Raider Stadium. The PlayOnSports.com Friday night game of the week, a good one so far. On third down and short, they're going to keep it on the ground and kick it to the outside. There goes Polk one more time. And they have to find an answer for him because he is making a living out there on the corner and knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line. First down for Milton.
Kevin, you've got to give the Eagles credit. One of the things that I've noticed they're doing on this drive is they are getting most of their yardage on first and second down. The last 2 or 3 times they've come up against a third down, it's been third and short. And third and short gives your offense all type of options, and Milton's done a really good job taking advantage of that.
What they say football fundamentals is establish the run, and they have absolutely done that here this evening on their opening possession. Here's Polk again, a little juke step to the outside down to the 25-yard line. Pick up about 5.
The ball carrier
Trey
again,
Whitaker
number 1, Polk.
doing a good job on
This
the tackle that time for
Raiders,
Alpharetta.
number 95.
And Kevin, I mentioned early on, even though Milton has sort of spread the field, their offensive line, that huge offensive line we talked about, starting to assert themselves as a Milton taking big chunks off the field every time they touch the football.
All right, Milton showing a little spread look here for the first time tonight. And they're going to keep it on the ground. Barber in trouble, reverses his field, comes near side to the 20 and gets knocked out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Chris, if I'm going to put an advantage of speed on one side or the other right now, I've got to check the Milton side of the football because they are absolutely running past those outside linebackers, putting a lot of pressure on the corners and the safeties to come up and support those runs because the linemen are just getting run by both these guys, Polk and Barber, doing a great job.
Let's face it, that should have been a negative gain for Milton, but they did a really good job of reversing the field, finding the corner, and getting the first down.
First down and 10. It's going to be a keeper. And Bush gets lit up down there, and that is not where you want your quarterback to be amongst those big, hard-hitting linebackers of Alpharetta. He's going to pick up a couple of yards there.
Looks like
it comes up a little slow, though.
Tyler Keeley.
So Tyler Keeley in on the tackle for Alpharetta, along with big number 93,
Second down.
Jalen Johnson.
And we were watching Tyler Keeley in warm-ups, Chris. That number 51, he is a hard-hitting linebacker in the black and silver for Alpharetta. No huddle once again for Milton. You see Bush to throw. Now it's going to be quarterback draw. Looked like he had more if he'd gone forward there, but he decided to sidestep it and got knocked down around the 10-yard line. He might lose a yard there.
7,
Chase Stratton doing a good job of filling the gap that time.
A loss of a yard on the play. It brings up
Inside 2
down
minutes to
and
play
8
in the
yards to
opening
go for
quarter.
the Eagles.
Alpharetta on top, 7-0, but here comes Milton taking their first possession of the ball game from their own 20-yard line. And Chris, I don't want to jinx it by saying this, but a pretty mistake-free football game being played so far by both sides.
See what the Eagles do here with a short field on 3rd down.
3rd and 7. Bush to throw. Juggles the football. Looks like he lost the handle on it. And I think that ball might have bounced right back into his hands, Chris. Tough break there. As Bush, a little indecision
That actually was a pass
as he
and it's
dropped back.
incomplete.
Came right back to him.
It's kind of like almost a tuck rule situation where the ball came out, but it did get out and hit the ground. So tough break there, and the drive will stall.
Looks like they're going to bring in the junior kicker, Jordan Genovese. He was putting them through in warmups.
Be a 27-yard attempt for the youngster to put Milton on the board.
Number 99, Jordan Genovese.
Look good from the center to the holder, and that's a good-looking kick.
Is good. 3 points
So
on
Milton,
the
although
board
the
for
stall
Milton.
drives, they come out with something, Chris. That's not a demoralizing situation. They've shown that they can move the football. Good confidence builder now. Defense has had a good chance to rest. That was a time-consuming drive, about 5.5 minutes of offensive drive. The defense had to be gassed by that opening drive from Alpharetta. Is going to get back on the football field with a nice little breather there and a chance to probably assess, get with the coaches, and determine how they want to stop this spread, no-huddle hurry-up of the Alpharetta Raiders.
Well, Kevin, if you're both defensive coordinators, you're huddling up with your teams. You're like, look, we've seen both teams run their first offensive series. Both been successful. 7 points for Alpharetta, 3 points for Milton. And who knows what's going to happen had that boot by A.J. Bush not happened, because it looked like he had a little bit of room up the middle and was going to at least get close to the first down flag. So sort of a stalemate other than on the board. But both defenses need to make adjustments, and they need to do it really, really quick.
And Chris, there's got to be some butterflies by both sides coming out here. And I think once they get an offensive series or a defensive series, whichever side of the ball you play, and you get that out of your system, you can relax, get into your football mode. This is opening night against a very good football team. And Alpharetta, I don't know if they expected this kind of fight from Milton, but they're getting one tonight.
Well, Milton's receivers did a really good job. The offensive line really asserted themselves in the second half of that drive.
Burse and Harton back deep to receive the kick from Genovese. And he's going to drill this one on the ground, and it'll go out of bounds. Not the way they drew it up over on the Milton side of the football.
Out of bounds inside the 5, flag on the play.
So that'll be a procedure call against the kicker from Milton and give Alpharetta a pretty good field position to start this drive.
Just the opposite of what we were talking about, the advantage going to the kickers. But if you shank one off the side of your foot, which that happens, once again, first game, trying to work out the kinks.
But that shank went a lot further than a lot of kickers we've seen kick off this year. So unfortunately, Milton gives a free 15 yards away to Alpharetta. And here comes that high-powered, hurry-up, no-huddle style offense of Alpharetta. They lead 7-3 with a minute and a half remaining in the opening quarter here at Raider Stadium.
Two really exciting quarterbacks at the helm of two pretty good offenses so far, Kevin.
I like what I see on both sides of the football. Alpharetta obviously showing a little more spread, a little more throw the football kind of offense. And Milton just loaded with speed. And you know what they say, speed kills. And it killed the outside corners of Alpharetta on that opening drive by Milton. Let's see what Milton has done as far as adjustments to try to put some pressure on Josh Dobbs in this second possession. Again, spread with no huddle for Alpharetta. Dobbs with time, fires, and dropped at midfield. Andre Harton had the football and had room to run, but it got away from him over there at the 50-yard line.
Kevin Dobbs doing a really good job. What an arm. He just really shot that ball right up the middle. And Harton did a good job. Maybe the ball was led just a little bit, but the junior laid out and tried to make an incredible catch. And
the strong side safety, Spezio, was beat on the play. If Harton pulls that in, he's still running. 2nd down and 10 for Alpharetta. See, they look over to the sideline, get the signals. Prevents Milton from making any kind of defensive substitution or adjustments until they're set. Here we go, 2nd down and 10 for the Raiders. They're going to keep it on the ground this time.
Good penetration by the defense.
Julian Macon going nowhere. He might have made it back to the original line of scrimmage. Nice penetration there by Milton. So an opportunity now for Milton to make up for the bad kickoff, Chris. 3rd down and 10. Opportunity for Milton's defense to make a statement here and shut down Alpharetta after a 3 and out. See if they can pull it off.
2 or 3 white jerseys with the initial penetration to slow down the play, and then Carl Lawson came in and finished things up.
Yeah, Alpharetta has not had any success running between the tackles so far in this game. They've had success passing the football and working out in the flat. Here's Dobbs another time. He steps up and he's got room and he's loose in that secondary. Not what you want to see if you're the Milton defense. Across midfield and knocked out of bounds at the 44-yard line. That's a huge pickup by Josh Dobbs, and that really fires up the student section and the rest of the crowd here. The sea of black.
And Kevin, give credit to a couple of the running backs and wide receivers. They went down the field with their quarterback and laid some pretty vicious blocks. Julian Macon in there laying a pretty good block along with number 81, Carlos Burse.
Josh Dobbs reminds me of Quincy Carter, Chris. Very confident back there. Long loping strides, always looking downfield. This is Macon left side. Not much happened there. Maybe 2 on the play.
Julian Macon, the ball carrier.
But if we saw it in the first possession, Chris, if Josh Dobbs has that kind of time back there and he spots a large opening, he's going to exploit it. And he did there on 3rd down and 10 to keep this drive alive. 2nd down and 7 now for the Raiders. Clock running down inside 15 seconds. Let's see if they can get another playoff before we go to break. And it doesn't look like Alpharetta. Oh, it looks like they're going to call timeout or delay.
I think we had a little movement on the left side.
We did
for the Raiders.
All right, so 2.7 remaining.
The flag is illegal procedure.
So the procedure will march it back 5 on the Raiders. So a 2nd down and 12. The down and distance with 2.7 remaining in the first quarter. 7-3 ball game. Alpharetta on top of Milton.
Looks like once the clock starts, Alpharetta may try to run a play.
And it looks like Dobbs is just going to let that run down. And that'll do it for the end of the first quarter. Folks, remember, do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. That's the end of the first quarter from Raiders Stadium on PlayOnSports.com's Friday night game of the week. It's Alpharetta 7, Milton 3. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Raider Stadium in Alpharetta, Georgia, just about 25 miles north of the great city of Atlanta. We've got a good one going here. Alpharetta leads Milton 7-3. First play of the second quarter. Along with Chris King, this is Kevin Beck. Jason and Jamel helping us put a good production on here tonight as we go to the ground, and it's going to be good penetration from the backside. Finally, we get to see some of that, Chris, on the defensive side of the football. Looks like number 45, Noah Allen, with a good backside pursuit. And that's what you want to see. You got somebody on the Milton side has got to make a play, Chris.
They've got to do something. A couple of local scores: Roswell 7, Centennial 3 early on. Lassiter 37, Hillgrove 0, and the battle of two of the top teams in the nation: Grayson 7, Miami Central Florida 0.
Grayson's a very good football team. Pretty good football team on the field right now, but they face a 3rd down and about 20. They try to go an inside screen. Nothing happening there. Incomplete. All right, so Milton does its job, Chris. The penalty The pursuit on the backside, good penetration into the backfield for the loss. And now Alpharetta is going to have to give up the football.
Putting a little bit of pressure on Josh Dobbs that time, and it really showed the difference. And good stand that time.
Well, it looks like they're making adjustments over there on the red and white side of the football. Milton defensive coaches trying to come up with something to slow down Josh Dobbs and that no huddle.
First punt of the ball game.
So 4th and 17 for Alpharetta. They will obviously give up the football. End over end punt. And they're going to let that one bounce. Takes a great Alpharetta bounce inside the 10 and gets touched at the 6-yard line. So special teams. Good check mark there in that box for Alpharetta. They're going to pin Milton deep, make them go the long way.
Kevin, the Eagles have shown that they have the type of offense that can get them out of a situation where they're going to be deep in their own territory. They've got the speed to the outside. They've got a very smart quarterback. It'll be interesting to see if they play it safe, but try to open it up and create a little space behind them so they can move down the field. And now we get an opportunity to see what kind of adjustments the Alpharetta defensive coaches have made with regard to that speed on the outside that really burned them in the opening drive by Milton. Full backfield now. Bush goes under center. First down from their own 6-yard line. Try to go up the middle with Trayvon Polk. Not much happening there. He tried to bounce it outside, Chris, but the pursuit was too tough. And it looked like Michael Downing, first man to get there along with Trey Whitaker on the stop. So a little bit more conservative play, not wanting to make any mistakes. Looked like he had something there for just a moment when he bounced it out to the tackle. But good pursuit by that Alpharetta defense. Slowed him down there. 2nd down and, for all intents and purposes, 10 to go. Going to empty out the backfield now for Bush. Looked like a quarterback draw from the outset. Tried to shake a man, but nothing happening there. Looked like number 42 brought him down, Bryce Grouse. So now from the shadow of their own end zone, Chris, Milton finds them in a tough spot. So if nothing else, after the stop drive by Alpharetta, they've changed field position. And if they can get a stop here, they will force Milton to do something special with their punting team. They go 4 wide out set now. Bush from the shotgun. He wants to throw. Airs it out into the flat. Dangerous.
And nothing happening there. Peyton Barber. And that pass has got to be right on the money in stride for Barber to make anything happen on the corner. Took him out of stride and just never had a chance. So 4th down comes up quickly for Milton. A 3 and out at their own 6-yard line.
Kevin, had the completion happened, there was 2 or 3 black jerseys over there that looked like they were going to keep Milton from getting any yards anywhere near first down.
So it looks like Mills is going to have to punt from about 5 or 6 yards deep in his own end zone. And we're going to have a timeout called on the field. And that is Alpharetta. Looks like they weren't ready for that, Chris. So that'll give Milton a chance to regroup a little bit, understand what they want to do with this punt. Just to recap the scoring, sorry, Chris, just to recap the scoring from the first quarter. Alpharetta took the lead on a beautiful juggling catch, a 6-yard pass from, from Dobbs to Morris. And that was a great catch, made it 7-0. And then Genovese with a 27-yard field goal for Milton to get them on the board on their opening drive. 7-3 is where we stand, 9:47 to go until halftime.
So Kevin, first quarter looks like both offenses kind of flexed their muscles, but here starting the second quarter, both defenses have come up with a stop. One thing I will say, be very careful, because back deep for the Raiders, the dangerous number 81, Carlos Burse.
And Burse is going to stand at the Milton 40-yard line. So Alpharetta can expect very good field position on this change-up possession. Matt Moskowitz in to punt for Milton. On 4th down and 9 from their own 8-yard line. We're going to have flags and whistles before the snap.
Flag on the play.
And the last thing that punter wants to do is back up near his own end line. and have to really boot this one away. Dead ball foul. It's going to be a procedure call against Milton. We haven't had a lot of penalties, Chris, tonight, but when they have come at the worst times. Not like there's a good time for a penalty, but not when you're backed up in your own end zone trying to punt the ball away. You do not want to give away 5 free yards.
It looked as if the defensive line for Alpharetta actually flinched a little bit, but no one moved into the neutral zone. Thus, the result is the Eagles moving back a little bit further and giving Burse even more room.
Going to respot the football back to about the 4-yard line, and that will put Moskowitz back there about a yard off his end line.
And he's not going to have very much time to get rid of that football, Kevin.
Need a good punt here from Milton to survive this 3-and-out situation. End over end punt. Drives Burse back to the 45-yard line, and he's got room. Picks up a block and cuts it inside. Now he's looking to the outside, shakes a tackler at his shoelaces, and a flag flies in, knocking tacklers down. Wow, he lowered the shoulder, Chris, delivering the punishment, and we got a flag back at the 27-yard line.
He's fun to watch. But was all that effort for naught?
45, he ran it back 30 yards down to the 15. Run out of
A nice 30-yard return may come back as a result of this penalty.
We'll wait the call from the flag.
And it is going to be a block in the back against Alpharetta, so he raced a good return. That's a little bit of a bonus there for Milton.
And Kevin, as you said, not many penalties, but when they have happened, they've come at very important times in this ballgame early on.
Absolutely, Chris. When it cancels out a 30-yard punt return, that's a bad time for a holding penalty or a block in the back or any kind of infraction.
Brings the Raiders back to the Milton.
Well, Kevin, it'll be interesting to see the mentality of Alpharetta as they come back out for the football. Maybe they feel like they took a punch from Milton. Milton got the ball back, but they were not able to do anything, so it was kind of a punch-counterpunch thing. And now the Raiders come out with that spread offense and a short field.
And again, I think you're seeing a lot of adjustments by the defensive coaches on both sides, Chris. Big, experienced staffs on both sides of the field here tonight, and that's exactly what's happened here. Making those adjustments to try to slow down the other side. Dobbs to throw. Has a man wide open at the 18-yard line and underthrows him. Trying to find Clements, the junior wide receiver over there on the near sideline. Again, Chris, the incompletes that Dobbs has had have been on him, basically. Underthrowing, overthrowing, too much lead, or just too high on his receivers. So if he could dial in that gun, Milton's going to find their secondary in a world of trouble.
Tone it down just a little bit. He has the ability. He has a cannon back there.
2nd down and 10 from the Milton 38-yard line. He does get this one on point, and he connects with number 18, Blake Rowlandson.
Dobbs' pass is complete.
Picks up about 6. Make it a 3rd down and 4. Call it 3.
Number 10, Grant Smith.
Grant Smith makes about his 5th or 6th tackle of the game.
3rd down and 3 for the Raiders.
All right, so this is a pivotal moment for the Milton defense. See if they can hold Alpharetta here to a field goal attempt. If they can make something happen, possibly a punt, but right now Milton needs a play on defense. See Dobbs barking those signals out.
Watch Harton, he's lined up here on the near side.
5 wide receivers. There's going to be a quarterback draw up the middle.
Great
there
call.
Goes Dobbs, and we've got a flag back in the area of holding. Dobbs is going to just jog into the end zone, but we've got a flag back here at the line of scrimmage, Chris. I think we're going to see a hold on a quarterback draw where that flag is thrown. That is pretty much where somebody's got a hold of somebody in an inappropriate way.
Another untimely penalty.
And I can't think of a worse penalty than one that calls back a touchdown. So they had the 5 wide out set. They went with the spread trying to open up that defense. Ran a great call, the quarterback draw with that athletic quarterback. But somebody had a hold of somebody else, and it is coming back. So not only will that erase the 6 points, that'll bring up a 3rd down and long for Alpharetta.
If you're the coaching staff for the Raiders, you're shaking your head because you had a great play called. Everything worked to a T, and somebody grabbed a hold of the opposing team's jersey and all of a sudden 6 comes off the board, and you have 3rd and long as a result.
And Dobbs also reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. His size, the way he moves, looks like he's in slow motion, but he lowers his shoulder when he gets some contact, and he delivers as good as he gets. 3rd down and 14 for Alpharetta. Dobbs with a play fake to the near side, then he go with a screen on the inside, and that is not going to get it done. Julian Macon on the receiving end. And that will bring up a 4th down and 13, so no field goal attempt, flag on the play.
Tyler Blaine in on the tackle for the Eagles. Let's look at the flag.
All right, Chris, so not only will they not attempt a field goal, looks like it's going to be a long punting situation, and they're going to talk to the Milton captains here and see what they want to do. So this looks like it is going against Alpharetta, so the first self-inflicted wounds that we've seen have come on the Alpharetta side of the football. So we've erased on this drive a 30-yard punt return, a 1st down, and a touchdown.
By a couple of holding penalties.
Right.
That brings up a 4th down.
And that's frustrating.
So that's the trifecta of bad calls there, or bad moves.
18 seconds left before halftime.
And Kevin, I guess you could say the first sloppy play of the game.
Absolutely.
The ball game.
Senior punter Evan Trout on to kick it away.
It's like Peyton Barber back deep.
That's
Good
a
kick.
good high spiral. Bounces at the 10-yard line, takes a good sideways bounce, and it'll be down at about the 12-yard line.
Trout's punt is
Down by number 42. Bryce Grouse, he is just about everywhere on the football field.
Kevin Milton has the ability to take this football and take this 7 minutes and 51 seconds from the clock, and if they can play penalty-free football, they have the ability to move this ball down the field and take a good chunk off the board and maybe put something on the board.
And they've shown that they can move the football on the ground. The speedy running backs they have on the Milton side of the football. Trayvon Polk will join A.J. Bush in the backfield. 1st down and 10 from the 14. Bush wants to throw, overthrows his receiver. It's juggled a couple of times. And that could have been dangerous right there. Looked like big number 51, who's been lurking all over the field. Tyler Keeley was in the area of that one.
Big Niam Mustafa was also in there. And I think Mustafa is one of the guys who got his hands up and forced the quarterback for Milton to throw that ball a little higher than he initially wanted to.
2nd down and 10 now for the Milton Eagles, trailing 7-3 here at Raiders Stadium to open their 2012 season. Looking to make something happen here before halftime.
Nice keeper.
And that's going to be a quarterback keeper close to a 1st down. Once again, A.J. Bush showing that athleticism. Chris, he's going to have a Milton 1st down. That'll stop the clock and move the chains. And that gives Milton a little breathing room out of in the shadow of their own goalpost back there.
Tell you what, Grouse did a good job of filling the hole inside and stopping the junior quarterback, or he would have ran for a while.
Chris, I think you could take either quarterback, put him in the other guy's jersey, and you might not know the difference based on the athletic ability and the way they move in and around the pocket. Here's Bush once again. They're going to give it off to the first man through. That's Trayvon Polk, and he is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Nothing happening there for Trayvon on 1st down and 10. Clock continues to run now, 7 minutes, 15 seconds until halftime.
Big J.J. Johnson.
No gain on the play.
And Chris, we've yet to see a huddle on this football field here. Halfway through the 2nd quarter. Bush from the shotgun another time, and he wants to throw. That's going to be complete around the 34-yard line. He catches up with Eric Abbott out there on the completion.
Pass is complete to number 11, Eric Abbott.
Good closing speed by number 20, DeAndre Watkins.
Made the hit as soon as the receiver got the football. No yards after the catch, as we talked about earlier. Chris, you got to eliminate those yaks.
Get open field one-on-one tackle.
Bush empties out the backfield now. 4 wide receiver set for Milton. 3rd down and a long 5. Flare it to the outside. Very close to a 1st down. Peyton Barber out there on the receiving end.
25, Peyton Barber.
Looks like they're going to be a couple of yards short.
Looks like he stepped out of bounds around the 35-yard line. That'll bring up a 4th down and 3 for the Eagles, and it looks like they're going to play conservative ball, Chris, and just kick it away.
Ball's placed at the Milton 35.
Yeah, can't take any chances now. The best you can do is switch field position. Go ahead and do that. Make sure your punt coverage team does its job. Maybe you get a 3 and out and you get a chance. But right now, Milton playing good, fundamental ball, and they are going to kick it away.
And once again, watch Burse. We saw what he did last time. He had a great punt return that was negated by a penalty, but always dangerous when he's back there receiving the kick.
A 30-yarder called back from a holding penalty. Let's see what Burse has got this time. Moskowitz again back to kick. He stands at his own 22-yard line.
A little confusion that time for Milton.
And they waited too long. So you don't want to hurt your punter by tacking on 5 more, and you definitely don't want to give Carlos Burse 5 free yards.
Yeah, you saw right at the end, there was an Eagle player that ran onto the field, and then they were trying to figure out who was going to step up to the line, who was going to step away from the line. And as you said, Kevin, they just took too much time.
That's the downfall of the no huddle when you're dependent upon signals from the sideline and guys getting in and out substitutions. Sometimes it can backfire, and it did right there. So once again, Burse back deep to receive the punt of Moskowitz. Plenty of time to kick the ball away. A good spiral nose up, turns over for him, and Burse is going to go ahead and field that in traffic at the 30-yard line. No return. Nice job of switching field position there. Moskowitz did his job. Punt coverage team did its job, so another check on the positive side for special teams for the Milton Eagles.
Kevin, I believe that ball was about eye level with us. We're up here, and that was great distance and great height, great hang time on that punt.
Our playonsports.com broadcast position high above Raider Stadium here in Alpharetta, Georgia, and it couldn't be a better night to be outside with Jason and Jamel, our whole crew here, doing a wonderful job of bringing it to you on playonsports.com. Turned into a beautiful evening, but man, it was hot when we got here about 5 o'clock this afternoon, and the place was absolutely filling in with folks at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So that tells you the kind of excitement that was around this football game and this football season and this football team, Chris. For the most part, high energy around the Alpharetta Raiders football program, and well-deserved. It's a pretty good football team and a pretty good program as well.
6 minutes, 9 seconds.
Kevin, you know, this area, you know, you and I have been around Metro Atlanta for a lot of years. This area over the last 15 to 20 years has really, really grown. There are so many schools within about a 10, 15 mile radius. You've got Johns Creek in one direction. You've got Roswell in the other direction. Centennial's not too far. Of course, you've got Milton. You've got Alpharetta. So many schools at Mountain Park area. There's so many schools and there's so many numbers. You know, last week we saw, excuse me, a private school, Holy Innocents. You know, of course, a private school, single A school, not a lot of numbers. You saw a team they played last week, which was Lakeside, that traditionally that area has a lot of numbers, but I think because of the turmoil that has gone on in that football program over the last couple of years, they didn't have the numbers that we're used to seeing from a prominent school in that area of DeKalb County. But we come up here to North Fulton County, and both of these schools have so many players. I think maybe one school has a player that goes both ways. That just shows the advantage of being in an area that has such a highly populated
demographic.
Yeah. How about a high population?
Okay.
There you go.
And here goes Alpharetta back on offense. They're going to go on the ground this time. Julian Macon, he tries the outside, maybe 2 on the carry there. He's hit the backfield, managed to shake a tackler, but he's going to be out to about the 31-yard line. Call it 2nd down and 8.
Kevin, is it safe to say after the first 2 series that both defenses and both defensive coordinators have made those adjustments?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I also think, Chris, I think some of the butterflies, some of the nervousness of kicking off the season have worked their way out of these guys, and they've just settled down to play some football. Quick release this time by Dobbs, and going to gain about 4 on the play. Adam Schillhammer on the receiving end. He was hit as soon as he got the football, so 3rd down and call it 6 now for Alpharetta.
Grant Smith, one of the first Eagles in on the tackle. Davis also.
Approaching 5 minutes to play in the half. Alpharetta on top 7-3 over Milton's Eagles as both teams kick off their 2012 campaigns here at Raider Stadium in beautiful Alpharetta, Georgia. 3rd down and 6. Dobbs all by himself in the backfield. A quick throw, and he's got a man for a 1st down at the 41-yard line. A nice catch there. Good job, Daniel Clements, holding on to that football And that was some pretty good velocity. It's probably the best pass he's thrown tonight, Chris. That was on the money, no step drop from the shotgun, and he drilled that in for the first down. It's a high-pressure throw. Nicely done.
Gave the Eagles defense no time to react. A quick two-step drop and automatically flung that ball. Big first down.
And a good job by the defense to corral that receiver as soon as he caught the football. Here's Dobbs in trouble now. He scrambles out, and he's going to be brought down at the 45-yard line, maybe pick up one. But they're starting to get into that backfield a little bit, Chris. They couldn't get near him in the first quarter, but now Milton's starting to get a little bit of penetration and forcing Dobbs to do some things early.
But give Dobbs credit. He had two white jerseys right there on him behind the line of scrimmage. Had the presence of mind to step forward and get something as opposed to a possible 3 to 5 yard loss.
And both these quarterbacks, both Dobbs and Bush, good-sized young men, and they will not go down with just a hand. You're going to have to wrap these guys up and drag them down. Going to go over the middle again, goes back to the well, and Daniel Clements pays that one off with a first down catch inside Milton territory at the 42-yard line.
2 in a row to the same tight end.
Well, you know how quarterbacks are. If they get a receiver who's confident in making those catches for him, they're going to keep going back to him. 3 wideouts to the top this time for Dobbs. Alpharetta trying to get something done here before halftime. 4 minutes to play in the half. Alpharetta with that 7-3 lead. Dobbs with plenty of time, going to step up into space. Spins out of trouble. Still spinning out of trouble, taking a hit, still spinning out of trouble. Now he's loose on the sideline, down to the 31-yard line. Chris, I think that's going to be good enough for a first down. And I hate being right all the time, but he's not going to go down if you just bump into him. You've got to wrap that big quarterback up and drag him to the ground.
Yeah, if you are the Milton defensive coordinator, you're not happy about the lack of tackling ability that time, but you also have to give Josh Dobbs credit. That was a pretty spectacular effort that time by the quarterback.
That was no less than 3 spin moves to get out of trouble and break contact and pick up the first down. He is a great weapon on that side of the football for Alpharetta. Back to the no huddle once again. Dobbs gives it to the first man through. That's going to be number 25, Julian Macon. And he'll have about 3. Clock continues to run now. 3.5 minutes to play until halftime.
Once again, Grant Smith, that senior linebacker, another tackle. Kevin, it's amazing.
And they're going to have a timeout. Milton's going to call timeout. Chris, go ahead.
I was going to say it's amazing what a couple of successful plays will do to your confidence. It looked like Alpharetta had lost their confidence on the offense a little bit. We talked about how they opened up with that impressive drive, and then they sort of stalemated at the end of the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter. But as we reached the end of the second quarter, they've had a couple of quick slants across the middle, a couple of great offensive efforts by the quarterback Josh Dobbs, and all of a sudden they look like they've got their mojo back and the offense is flowing again.
Starting to find their rhythm, and I think, and of course I'm just an announcer, but I think that they're trying to conserve Dobbs and his energy and limit the amount of hits that he takes until they can wear down Milton into the late second half and maybe exploit that. But I'll tell you what, he looks like a secret weapon that's just ready to go off and just hasn't yet. But he's doing a great job running this offense down there. And it's got to be tough for a quarterback at this level. No huddle, hurry up scheme to keep it all together. And he's doing a wonderful job of it here. Number 11 in black for Alpharetta. 7-3 lead, 3:22 to play. Milton had to take a timeout and talk about it. And we are back to action on 2nd down and 9 from the 29-yard line of Milton. Milton showed blitz, may have caused a couple of Alpharetta linemen to jump just a bit, so mission accomplished there. Showing that aggressive look from the linebackers.
And you really don't want that penalty, but you definitely do not want that.
Oh, Chris, I was wrong. It's going to go against Milton. Pardon me. I thought the linebackers jumping toward the line of scrimmage may have caused a couple Alpharetta linemen to flinch, but that was not the case.
Did you catch that call?
That's a penalty on failure to wear required equipment.
That's a
failure to wear that's a equipment penalty. Chin strap. That is a penalty you do not want to get. Talk about self-inflicted that could be avoided. Now 2nd down and 4 for Alpharetta.
Good pressure.
Dobbs under pressure, he lets it go, and that's going to be incomplete. Good defensive coverage there by number 14 on Milton.
Intended for number 81, Carlos Burst.
Look like Carte,
On the coverage,
Sapp.
number 14,
First time we've called his number here tonight.
Sapp.
A couple of white jerseys came up the middle and forced Dobbs to get rid of the football maybe a little quicker than he intended.
First down upcoming for the Raiders.
3rd down and 5 for Alpharetta at the Milton 24-yard line.
Think you're in a 4-down territory here, Kevin?
I would say it would be, with 3:11 remaining, I would call it 4-down territory, especially with the kicking games that Alpharetta possesses. Here's Dobbs to throw with plenty of time, looking for the end zone. Off the fingertips of your guy right there, Burst. And it looked like he had a second effort at it too, Chris, almost juggled it to himself. Pretty good throw there, but once again, Dobbs just a little bit off target. Hasn't got the sights dialed in just yet.
Everything was there, including some great protection by the offensive line, just a little bit long.
He's been putting it on a lot of fingertips here tonight, just hasn't been putting it in the old breadbasket to get what he needs. So it is 4th down, Chris, as you said, from the 24-yard line. They will, looks like they're going to go for it on the Alpharetta side of the football. And Dobbs goes into the shotgun, 3 wideouts to the top this time. Milton shows pressure, and they bring everybody. Dobbs sidesteps it and fires incomplete at the 15-yard line. Almost a little too much mustard on that one, Chris, and broken up. So Milton dodges a major bullet here as time winds down. Just under 3 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter. And they did bring the house that time, Chris. Both linebackers shot the gaps and got in Dobbs' face.
Yeah, Grant Smith did a great job of penetrating and causing a little bit of havoc in the middle along with number 54.
Milton 1st and 10 from their own 24, just inside of 3 minutes before halftime.
So now Milton has the opportunity. 3 minutes, 2:59 actually, to try to make something happen here and go into the halftime locker room with some momentum. They're going to go on the inside, and they're going to make something happen big time. That's going to be good enough for a 1st down on the 37-yard line.
Pretty good effort.
Tackled by number 58.
That was Barber on the carry.
Andrew Butcher.
Butcher on the tackle that time for Alpharetta.
The gain is 12, and it's a Milton 1st down.
No huddle once again. They're going to keep it on the inside, go to Barber one more time, and he is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. He might have gained 1 after contact.
This time on the tackle, number 51, Tyler Keeley of the Raiders.
Tyler Keeley again on the stop. He has been everywhere for that Alpharetta defense. Clock running now, 2:30 to play until halftime.
It's a gain of 1, 2nd down.
Gain of about 1.5. Call it a 2nd down and a long 8 for the Milton Eagles. 5 wideouts for A.J. Bush. He's got time. He's going to fire near side, looking for Barber again. Little juke step at the 20, and here comes the cavalry to wrap him up after a gain of maybe 1. Probably would have served him better, Chris, to just go ahead and run out of bounds on that one, stop the clock, as it continues to run under 2 minutes now.
A host of Raiders in on the tackle that time, including number 93, Jalen
2 yards on the play.
Johnson.
Ball now lies at the 40.
Kevin, unfamiliar territory right now for Milton, 3rd and long.
And you got to wonder if you're Alpharetta, maybe you get this back with some good field position. Maybe have a chance to do something here. We go to 1:40 to play. Bush to throw, looking. Now he's going to fire with the man hanging off his waist.
Got to be a flag there.
And that looked like interference there at the 45-yard line. Here comes the flag late.
It was late, but I think it was justified.
Yeah, he was hit from behind before the football got there. And, Chris, that really does bail out Milton.
We have a flag on the play.
And that should be 1st down for Milton.
Yeah, Evan Trout had good coverage, but he got to the receiver just a little early, and it was the correct call.
So that'll march the football inside Alpharetta territory to the 45-yard line, gives Milton new life with a little over a minute and a half remaining in the 1st half.
Ball is now in Raider territory, automatic 1st down, Milton.
Milton goes with a 5 wideout set. They're going to leave Bush in the backfield all alone. And he looks to throw far side, looking to pick up a blocker. And they make something happen out there on the outside. The first man there, Trayvon Polk, on the receiving end. Tyler Keeley looked like the first man there on the defensive side. So Keeley continues to have a great game. Evan Trout also helping out on the defensive stop. Timeout is called once again.
Marked the ball at the 41. That's a 4-yard
Receiver doing a good job of breaking tackles.
Okay, officials stop the clock there. Here is Bush on 2nd down and 6. They're going on the ground back to the outside. Chris, haven't seen much of that. Stephon Perry on the carry. And now we will have a stoppage of play.
Made by number 51, Tyler Keeley of the Raiders.
Keeley on the tackle that time.
Milton timeout.
It's a gain of 4 on the play.
Good conservative drive, Kevin. Milton not doing anything.
Well, a couple of first downs, Chris. They get that good place kicker in position here, possibly maybe go for the end zone. We haven't seen too many balls thrown down the field. We saw Dobbs throw on the post pattern looking for bursts on the last possession by Alpharetta, but other than that, pretty much been underneath passing game by both sides.
And I would definitely say a second quarter that has been dominated by the defenses. Both defenses making the adjustments that they needed to make and doing a good job of stalling the offenses that have both shown that they can move that ball quick and efficiently.
And what a different complexion the second quarter has had from the first quarter when it was all offense, up and down the field, both teams taking their opening possessions, basically the length of the football field. Alpharetta completes the deal and gets the touchdown. The Eagles go down to get a field goal. But as you said, Chris, the second quarter has been dominated on the defensive side by both clubs. 3rd down and 3 with 1:07 remaining. The Eagles with the football. They trail 7-3.
Where the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade junior Raiders take on the Milton Eagles.
Bush keeping protection in the backfield, keeping the defense honest now because he could stick the ball in the belly of one of those guys at any time. Both those ball carriers have shown they've got the ability to get to the outside. And they're going to go QB draw on the ball fake, and there goes Bush to the 25, the 20, a man at his ankles, and he's going to get out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Chris, there is the spark that Milton has needed.
A great decision by the quarterback. He looked like he was actually going to put the ball in the stomach of his receiver, but at the last minute, he kept it and saw some room to the outside and showed his great speed to the left.
It's all about reading the key on that linebacker. If that linebacker looks like he's coming, you grab that ball back and you take off with it, and he did just that. Great job by A.J. Bush to put Milton in position here to take the lead going into the halftime locker room. 1st and goal from the Alpharetta 7. Keep it on the ground. They go back to Julian Macon. He's close to the 2-yard line. Clock running now, 47 seconds.
Butcher on the tackle.
Milton has 1 timeout remaining. The Raiders have 2. They continue to let the clock run inside 40 seconds. Bush, again, they go inside. Nothing happening there. Maybe a yard. It's Macon again. 30 seconds remaining. Clock continues to run. Now they're going to stop the clock. And Milton will take their 3rd and final timeout with 30.4 remaining in this one.
Bush again on the tackle, along with number 51, Tyler Keeley.
Milton with 30 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
Milton putting themselves in really good position, Kevin. No timeouts left, but they're inside the 1-yard line. 3rd and goal. You've got to think they've got enough time to run 2 offensive plays if they want. But if they can't get it in the end zone, they should have enough time to quickly run their field goal unit on if they want to try to put 3 on the board before half.
And Chris, this is exactly the way they drew it up. 1 big play. You don't give Alpharetta a chance to get back in it. You use your timeouts properly. It is 3rd down and about the length of a football, standing between Milton and a lead here at Raider Stadium, and they are amping up the noise level here on the near sideline. Student body section going bananas down there, urging on their defense to try to hold the Eagles here. No timeouts remaining. Check that. 1 timeout remaining for the Eagles. Alpharetta took that last timeout. Great atmosphere here at Raider Stadium. Full backfield behind Bush. Gives it to the first man through, spinning, and we have flags and whistles before the snap, Chris. Let's see which way that's going to go. That is a critical call there. Offside against Alpharetta. So another bad time for a bad penalty against the Raiders. Well, I find myself saying that a lot on Sunday afternoons too, buddy.
The only positive is the ball moves about half the distance, which is about a half a football length.
Half the distance to the goal line, remains 3rd down.
So as you would expect, tight formation. for the Milton Eagles. On the 1 foot line, it is really crowded in there. The officials can't even wade their way through all those bodies down there to set the football properly. With 29 seconds remaining, high drama here at Raiders Stadium. The Milton Eagles looking to take the lead into the halftime locker room. Riding the legs of A.J. Bush, their junior quarterback, leading them here in a hostile environment at Raiders Stadium. They are unfazed by it, Chris. They are on the 1, maybe half foot line, looking to take the lead.
And of course, we have to say that Bush had the big offensive play of the drive, the big conversion where he kept the ball, sprinted to the outside, and got about 30 yards on the
And Chris,
play.
very, very intelligent quarterback. He got out of bounds. He did not cut it back inside. He knew the game situation there, had to get out of bounds with time running out on that long run, and did that. Very impressed by both quarterbacks here tonight, Dobbs and Bush. And right now, Bush looking to take the point. Some discussion down there amongst the referees holding up this very dramatic moment.
1.5 seconds on the clock.
So we're waiting for a time clock adjustment.
Kevin, you've got to think they're going to give the ball to Barber. You've got to give it to Barber. He's been the workhorse for a good bit of this drive.
And Chris, you talked about it before we kicked off tonight. The big beef is on the interior line of the Milton Eagles. They have the advantage down there between the tackles. Bush under center. He goes sneak left side, and he's in. Touchdown, Milton! The Milton Eagles have taken the lead at Raiders Stadium.
There's a flag on the play, but it looks like they're waving it off.
And they're going to pick up that flag. The Eagles have taken the lead in Alpharetta. And who else but A.J. Bush to get it done, Chris. Good vision, kept his head up, saw the gap on the left side, kind of rolled over his guard, and got in there for the score.
A couple of big plays on that drive, culminating in a 1-yard touchdown run by the junior.
Mills in for the extra point to try to make it 10-7.
Holding for Mills, number 18, A.J. Nagel.
A.J. Nagel is the holder. Never underestimate the importance of that guy on the knee. This is to make it 10-7 at the death of halftime. Kick is up, and the kick is good. The Milton Eagles have taken the lead at Raiders Stadium 10-7. And Chris, this has really quieted this hostile crowd over here on the near side, and that is exactly what you want. They have taken the crowd out of this football game. Now, 28.5 seconds remaining in the first half. Alpharetta has got to go with a gut check here and see what they're made of for this final 28-5.
Not only has Milton taken the crowd out of the game, they've taken, for the most part, the Alpharetta offense out of the game. Other than that first touchdown, a very impressive touchdown at the first drive of the game, the Eagles defense has stood tall. They've hunkered down. They've done a really good job, and Alpharetta has moved the ball. They've, I guess you can say the old cliche, bent but not broken on the Milton Eagles defensive side.
Well, what they did was they sparred with each other, Chris. They went field position, a couple of punts there, and the team that made the fewest mistakes capitalized. And right now, Milton has committed the fewest errors in this ballgame at the most critical times, and it shows right now on the scoreboard. 10-7, Milton leads Alpharetta at Alpharetta. Everything we expected this one to be so far, Chris.
And number 81, Carlos Burns.
Well, I tell you what, Carlos Bruce, Andre Harden back deep to receive. If one of those guys gets their hand on the ball, look out.
Burson Harden back deep to receive. This one has got to get into the end zone. If you are the Milton kicker, you've got to get this one deep enough to take these guys out of the equation. And they're going to pooch it. Little sand wedge down to the 25-yard line. And that's where it will go down at the 23-yard line. Swarmed under right there. Looked like number 7 jumped on it, Chase Stratton.
Taken by number 7,
Yeah, I wouldn't say
Chase
Stratton looked like he was
maybe a yard or two.
he was that
on the
excited
tackle.
about fielding that football, but you got to remember that's a live ball once he goes 10 yards. And he jumped on that ball just before one of the white shirts got in there.
And that Milton Eagles squad was thundering toward him with bad intent. 26.4 seconds remaining in the first half. The Eagles of Milton have taken the lead over their crosstown rivals, the Alpharetta Raiders.
Kevin, you got 26 and a half to go, and I was going to say, you just take a knee and go in down by 3. You have to.
And it looks like they're just going to take a knee. They've got one man standing back around the 7 or 8 yard line, Chris. Looks like they're going to go in to the halftime locker room, take their medicine, and regroup.
Dobbs will take a knee.
And that is exactly what's going to happen. Alpharetta not going to do anything with it. Kind of surprised at that one with all the speed they've got and that strong arm of A.J. Dobbs. Or Josh Dobbs, pardon me. So that will do it as the clock winds down from 10. Alpharetta chooses not to run another play. How about that? It is the Milton Eagles at halftime leading the Alpharetta Raiders 10-7. High drama and a great game at halftime. Folks, remember, Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter, and you can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. That'll send us to halftime with your score, Milton 10 and Alpharetta 7. We will be right back.
.3:16 left to go in this ball game. I formation, 3rd and 3 from the 45 of the Wolverines. And this time, holy cow! Dion almost hands it to the Westview player. He's going to run this to the 5-10. Touchdown, Wolverines! How did that happen? That was Snyder. Holy cow! He was in the backfield before the running back could even get the handoff. He took the handoff from Dion.
He took the ball right out of Dion's hands and just
holy cow!
Can't say I've seen that one very often.
Snyder comes shooting in from the A-gap. I think Dion froze when he saw him. He's ready to hand off to his running back. He froze when he saw him and just let him have the ball. 12 seconds to go.
Oh, you could hear a pin drop.
5, 4, 3, 2. Get the snap off. Last play of the game. Brewster rolls right. Gets away from 2 sacks. Dons win. Sack at the 20-yard line. What a game.
And number 40, Lucas Zinder with the game-saving sack. And there is heartbreak on one sideline and a jubilation on another.
Offset eye for the Grizzlies as Keeney takes it under center. They'll send a man in motion, pitch back to Bird on the sweep. Bird finds a seam. He might go, folks. 20, 15, 10. Drags a tackler. Touchdown! Bird goes 38 yards for the touchdown on the sweep. One more snap is all it's going to take, and there you have it, folks.
And welcome back to Raider Stadium in Alpharetta, Georgia. It is the PlayOnSports.com Friday night game of the week, coming to you from just about 25 miles north of Atlanta, Georgia, where the visiting Milton Eagles lead the home Alpharetta Raiders in a barn burner of a first half. It is 10-7, Milton on top. And for those in the know, that's kind of a surprise right now based on the seasons these teams had last year. Alpharetta was a dominant team, 9-2 in their region. Milton last year, not so much, 4-6, trying to rebuild and start a new tradition over there from their crosstown rivals here at Alpharetta, doing just that. Taking a look at the first half scoring, it was wide open in the first quarter. Both teams running up and down the field on each other. Defenses had no answers, and the scoring was open when Dobbs hit Morris on a 6-yard juggling catch to make it 7-0 Alpharetta. But back came Milton. They had a nice drive on their opening possession, but couldn't get it done, and they had to settle for a Genovese 27-yard field goal to make it 7-3, and that's how they went to the first quarter end, 7-3 Alpharetta on top. The big story of the first quarter had to be the penalties against Alpharetta. They had a touchdown called back on a penalty. They also had a 30-yard punt return by Burst called back as a result of a penalty, and also cost themselves a couple of first downs by some untimely mistakes that really cost them some opportunities in the first half or first quarter. In the second quarter, Milton finally found their legs offensively and managed to get down the field behind and on the shoulders of A.J. Bush, the great quarterback from Milton, doing a nice job keeping the drive alive late in the second quarter with a 20-yard run on a long down and distance, and got out of bounds around the 12-yard line of Alpharetta and managed to get them down to the 1-yard line. And after that, it was a 1-yard TD plunge by the quarterback, a nice quarterback sneak, and that made it a very surprising 10-7 lead, Milton on top. Right now we're enjoying the bands on the field, and we will be back with the call for the second half, and we'll be joined by Chris King. But right now, let's enjoy the bands on the PlayOnSports.com Friday night game of the week.
.3:16 left to go in this ball game. I formation, 3rd and 3 from the 45 of the Wolverines. And this time, holy cow! Dion almost hands it to the Westview player. He's going to run this to the 5-10. Touchdown, Wolverines! How did that happen? That was
Snyder.
Holy cow! He was in the backfield before the running back could even get the handoff. He took the handoff from Dion.
He took the ball right out of Dion's hands and just...
Holy cow!
Can't say I've seen that one very often.
Snyder comes shooting in from the A-gap. I think Dion froze when he saw him. He's ready to hand off to his running back. He froze when he saw him and just let him have the ball. 12 seconds to go.
Oh, you could hear a pin drop.
5, 4, 3, 2. Get the snap off. Last play of the game. Brewster rolls right. Gets away from 2 sacks. Dons win. Sack at the 20-yard line. What a game.
And number 40, Lucas Zinder with the game-saving sack. And there is heartbreak on one sideline and a jubilation on another.
Offset. 3:16 left to go in this ball game. I formation, 3rd and 3 from the 45 of the Wolverines. And this time, holy cow! Dion almost hands it to the Westview player. He's going to run this to the 5-10. Touchdown, Wolverines! How did that happen? That was
Snyder.
Holy cow! He was in the backfield before the running back could even get the handoff. He took the handoff from
He
Dion.
took the ball right out of Dion's hands and just...
Holy cow!
Can't say I've seen that one very often.
Snyder comes shooting in from the A-gap. I think Dion froze when he saw him. He's ready to hand off to his running back. He froze when he saw him and just let him have the ball. 12 seconds to go.
Oh, you could hear a pin drop.
5, 4, 3, 2. Get the snap off. Last play of the game. Brewster rolls right. Gets away from 2 sacks. Dons win. Sack at the 20-yard line. What a game.
And number 40, Lucas Zinder with the game-saving sack. And there is heartbreak on one sideline.
We can get a player up here.
Ah, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful.
We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
3:16 left to go in this ball game. I formation, 3rd and 3 from the 45 of the Wolverines. And this time, holy cow! Dion almost hands it to the Westview player. He's going to run this to the 5-10. Touchdown, Wolverines! How did that happen? That was
Snyder.
Holy cow! He was in the backfield before the running back could even get the handoff. He took the handoff from
He
Dion.
took the ball right out of Dion's hands and just
Holy cow!
can't say I've seen that one very often.
Snyder comes shooting in from the A-gap. I think Dion froze when he saw him. He's ready to hand off to his running back. He froze when he saw him and just let him have the ball. 12 seconds to go.
Oh, you could hear a pin drop.
5, 4, 3, 2. Get the snap off. Last play of the game. Brewster rolls right. Gets away from 2 sacks. Dons wins. Sack at the 20-yard line. What a game.
And number 40, Lucas Zinder with the game-saving sack. And there is heartbreak on one sideline and a jubilation on another.
Offset I for the Grizzlies as Keeney takes it under center. They'll send a man in motion, pitch back to Bird on the sweep. Bird finds a seam. He might go, folks. 20, 15, 10. Drags a tackler. Touchdown! Bird goes 38 yards for the touchdown on the sweep. One more snap is all it's going to take, and there you have it, folks. Your 2011 Division I Sac Joaquin section champions, the Granite Bay Grizzlies, as they defeat Pleasant Grove 30-24.
Jacqueline Williamson. Her serve is over. Dug by Holt. Giblin going back to Holt near side. Cut shot. Kept alive. Back in one by Cathedral. And this one is out as Castanon Hill sends it wide. And the Cathedral Dons have won the title 16-14 in Game 5.
Thomas with the ball, swings it out to Norris. Cameron Taylor tried to block that one away. Norris with a strong take, blocked by B.J. Anya. Huge block. Robinson leading the break the other way, gets it to Grant. Slam dunk Jeremy Grant off the feed from James Robinson. What a play by the Stag.
Runner at third is Chavez. 8-2 the score. Bottom of the 7th. The 1-2. Popped in the air. This should do it. Cortopassi says it's mine. Now he's fading on it. And he can't make the catch, but Gaff comes in from center field and does. Congratulations to the St. Mary's Rams, a three-peat. They win it 8-2 against Franklin to take the series 2-0.
This is time to run an offensive set that you've done all through the season in practice.
Yeah. And you also, you get it to your hottest player right now, just like they're getting into Eichhorst right here. He's going to try to create some space, find somebody on the backside that's open.
Eichhorst flush out to the right. Oh, breaks free of a player. Eichhorst on his own, shoots and scores, bounces a shot home. Coos can't handle the shot. Eichhorst takes off the shirt and the helmet. And how about that? Alex called it. Eichhorst, after sustaining the injury in the third quarter of play, has scored the game winner with 22 seconds gone in the overtime period. Dogpile on the field. Marin Academy take it. A fantastic finish to this game. And, well, I hope his other ankle isn't hurting after this.
Hancock to his immediate left. 2 receivers far side, 1 near side. Hancock on a counter, right side. He's inside the 10. He bounces off a tackler at the 10. The 5. Touchdown, Helix. And behind Hancock, the field is littered with white jerseys on the turf.
Wow. Hancock not to be outdone by his fellow playmakers on offense. Put on a show on that short 12-yard touchdown run. Looked like he was down after 3 yards, just threw a defender on the ground.
As sophomore Chris Carter sits under center. In their tight wing formation, Lycos in motion. Second back through is Freeman. Freeman just knocking people over. Look at him run, breaks through, 4 tackles, and now it's just a foot race to the end zone. And Freeman's going to go the distance. Touchdown Imperial on the first play of the second half. 2nd and 6 for Imperial from their own 47. They're going to give it to Freeman again off the left side. And Freeman gets by one wave and down across the 40-yard line. Still on his feet. Look at him run down to the 20-yard line. One man to beat. Gets by him. Touchdown, Freeman. How did he do that? Holy cow. 64-yard touchdown run. His 5th of the game. Royce Freeman, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see the top rushing and the as I look over to our partners at KXO Radio, the top rusher in the San Diego section for the next 2 years.
That's just amazing. That is just amazing. They hit him in the backfield. They hit him at the line of scrimmage. They hit him a couple yards downfield. They hit him again near the goal line.
Keep those Lowell fans quiet over there.
Lum sets it up to Pang. Long, it's out. Low, a magnificent 7 titles in the San Francisco section in dramatic style as they pull out a fantastic victory over a spirited Galileo Lions team. They win the 4th game, 31-29, and they take the 2012 Academic Athletic Association San Francisco section title.
Officials say no 5-second count can be started. Nobody was close enough defensively. Lyle's going to swing left side. Robinson. Here is a backdoor lob for Grant. They've been wanting that all game. And they got it, 50-42. They lulled you to sleep, and then they hit Grant on the back door.
They trail by 2. McMorrow's kick is on the way, and it is good. St. Augustine has their first lead of the game, 21-20, with 25 seconds to play. The senior McMorrow with a huge kick, not the longest of his career, but the biggest of his career. St. Augustine leads it 21-20.
Already lining up. They won't even have to run that one more play.
And welcome back, everybody. We are live from Raider Stadium in Alpharetta, Georgia, as we bring you the PlayOnSports.com Friday night high school game of the week. It is the Milton Eagles leading the Alpharetta Raiders by a score of 10-7. Along with the big man, Chris King, this is Kevin Beck, and our entire PlayOnSports.com crew, Jason and Jamel, making us look and sound good as they do every Friday night. And Chris, right now, Alpharetta not looking so good. A couple of mistakes in the first half cost them, and now they find themselves down to their crosstown rivals by the score of 10-7. And that is not what anybody in the sea of black below us expected to happen here tonight. 10-7, the Eagles on top of the Raiders.
Well, and if you throw in the fact that when Alpharetta came out, they came out just running on all cylinders, did a great job moving the ball down the field and scoring very easily the first drive of the game. And since then, it's been nothing. I think it's been the adjustments on the Eagles side of the football. On the defense, they did a really, really good job containing Alpharetta's potent offense. And then we talked about the big offensive line for Milton once they were able to shake off the early jitters. They did a good job of starting to contain and control the football, and they did it between the tackles, Kevin. Let's face it, they did a really, really good job. They've got a couple of really, really excellent running backs, including one guy during halftime we found out, Kevin, that was a pretty highly touted running back as he is getting ready to move to the next level.
And that was Peyton Barber from Alpharetta, and from the Milton Eagles, pardon me. And he looks like he may be bound for Alabama.
Saban gets the good ones, doesn't he?
Well, he's out there looking, that's for sure. So, Chris, the first quarter looked like we were going to have ourselves a 42-45 or 41 ball game here. And then everybody adjusted as far as defenses are concerned. Then Alpharetta started making mistakes. We find ourselves 10-7 at the half.
And there's really no flow after the first two offensive plays. I will give credit to the Eagles as they took the ball with about 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go and drove down the field and scored a touchdown right there at the end of the first half. That gave Milton a lot of confidence going into the second half, Kevin, and also did one thing. Milton also gets the ball to start the second half.
That's right. Milton won the toss, elected to defer, and kicked off to Alpharetta. And Alpharetta ran down the field on him, scored a touchdown. But now with the momentum of scoring late in the first half, Milton gets the football back, so the Raider offense still doesn't have a chance to get their hands on the football. Milton has an opportunity to capitalize on that momentum. Can they consolidate that momentum and put some more points on the board? Let's see how that all shakes out as we are set to go. Second half from Raider Stadium, playonsports.com. Friday night game of the week is set to go with second half action. Alpharetta trailing 10-7 over crosstown rivals, the Milton Eagles, and Alpharetta will kick off. The highly touted running back, Peyton Barber, for the Milton Eagles, back deep to receive the kick. And he stands at his 1 yard line and will have an opportunity on this one. First kickoff return we've seen in a while, and Barber gets out to the 25 yard line. He is tripped up there. Number 35 making a nice tackle there on the shoestrings. Brandon Williams able to bring him down. Starting to see a little bit of that talent that we saw in the first half there, Chris, in the open field by Peyton Barber. And he ran that all the way out to the 25 yard line. Looked like he had a head of steam there before he got tripped up.
And here at the beginning of the second half, it's really, really simple. Milton wants to take the ball and move it down the field just as they did at the end of the second half, at the end of the first half. And if you're Alpharetta, you want to do everything you can to get the ball out of Milton's hands really quick.
And they're going to go back to Barber. He's loose up the middle. One man to beat, gets a block. He's at midfield. Does he have the jets to make it to the end zone? Here goes Peyton Barber. Can he make it the distance? Tripped up and knocked out of bounds at the 10 yard line.
Wow. Impressive. Impressive. What an athlete.
65 yards on the carry. Chris, that was up the middle for Peyton Barber. And I'll tell you what, if they can get that momentum and really get the Raiders on their heels, get that defense fired up, this could be a newsworthy event going on here at Raider Stadium here tonight. Long way to go, though. We're just underway. But how about Barber? Talked about him in the first half, talked about him at halftime. And he has been right on cue for us here tonight. Even the guys carrying the chains can't keep up with him, Chris. First down, and they're going to call it goal, looks like, from the 10 yard line.
Keeper.
Bush wants to keep it. Nothing happening back there. Do a little tap dance back there in the backfield. He's going to lose possibly 3 back there. So A.J. Bush ran into a little trouble there. Looks like he should have given it to the first man through. And it cost him. He's going to lose about 3.5. Second down and goal from the 13 yard line.
And if you're Alpharetta, Kevin, that's what you need. You need something to counter that incredible play by Peyton Barber.
Second down and goal to go. Eagles.
Going pro set from the shotgun now for the Milton Eagles. Bush wants to keep it, and he's going to do more dancing in the backfield, and the same result, Chris. He goes back another 3. So maybe not the best decision that time by the quarterback to keep that one on the option. And it will be third and goal from the 16 yard line. So 2 plays, 2 losses of 3.
Alpharetta doing a really good job stiffening after that big play. Third and long, and if Alpharetta could stop Milton here and possibly hold them to a field goal attempt, you've got to think that is a plus.
Boy, there is steam coming out of the headsets of those Alpharetta coaches on the sideline right now. Those guys are hot. They need a response from their defense, and they need it right here. 3rd down and goal from the 16-yard line. A.J. Bush, the quarterback, taking his time, surveying the defense, and he's going to throw. Loses the handle on the football. And luckily, Peyton Barber there to pick it up. So 3 consecutive losses after that great run by Barber. That's a little demoralizing on the Milton side of the football, Chris, and this is going to set up a very long field goal attempt. So riding that emotional roller coaster over there on the Milton side of the football, the great run by Barber, and then 3 dubious plays by the quarterback after we sang his praises the whole first half. A.J. Bush not making the best decisions back there, and this will set up a 42-yard field goal attempt.
Yeah, a little sloppiness that time on the Alpharetta offense for Milton, but I give Alpharetta a good job. Their defense stiffened.
Here's Mills on the attempt. Plenty of leg in it. Is it on line? And it is. It's good. From 42 yards out, Mills knocks it through. A great job, and that pads the lead. So that's got to be a little bit of reward for the Eagles coming out after making those mistakes, the great run. Again, that emotional roller coaster, Chris, up, down, and they go ahead and get 3. A nice job, 42-yard field goal.
Kevin, on the other side of the ball, if you're Alpharetta, the last thing you wanted to do is come out and give up any points to start the second half. But after that big run that got Milton down inside the 15-yard line, Alpharetta stiffened and actually pushed Milton back a little bit and forced him to a field goal. So positive for Milton getting points, but positive for Alpharetta not allowing 7 on the board.
That would have really taken the wind out of this crowd had they been able to capitalize on that long Barber run and put 6 more points or 7 points on the board. But unable to do so, the Alpharetta defense does hold, as Chris said, 13-7 after. Nice job there, 42-yard field goal by Christopher Mills. Let's see if he can't put one deep into the end zone here and prevent a big return. Alpharetta needs something good to happen here to get the crowd back into this football game.
Kevin, we saw what the Raiders did at the beginning of the football game. Let's see if they can kind of photocopy that same result as they get the ball for the first time here in the second half.
This one's going to be short and fall into the midst of the crowd back at the 18-yard line. Taken right up the gut and off to the races goes Chase Stratton. And that got the crowd fired up. Listen to this Alpharetta sea of black just making noise. And they needed something good to happen, and Chase Stratton comes through for him, Chris.
Stratton doing a really good job of breaking the initial tackle.
And Alpharetta will be in business on the Milton side of the football at the 45-yard line. So like a couple of heavyweights here trading knockout blows. Milton came out and staggered Alpharetta. They managed to get off the mat. And now Alpharetta has come back with a combination to the head of the Milton Eagles, and they are in business at the Eagle 45-yard line. Josh Dobbs goes back to work for Alpharetta. Going to throw it to Burst. It's a flanker option. Burst lets it fly and overshoots everybody down the field. So a little trickery out of the gate. The flanker option. A little flea flicker there.
Noah Allen doing a good job of not being faked out on that, along with junior linebacker number 54, Grant
Piegler on the stop there. Nice job.
Second down.
Second down and 10 after the flea flicker flanker option. So going to the back of the playbook early.
Easy for you to say.
In the third, yeah, absolutely. Early in the third quarter, Alpharetta looking to turn the tide here. They trail by 6. Wide set again in the shotgun. Dobbs to fire behind his receiver. Once again, he just cannot get it dialed in, Chris. He has not been on the mark with these passes so far here this evening, and he's got some time. It's not like they're in his face. He could probably take a breath and really deliver these a little bit better, but he's been behind or just off the fingertips of his receivers here tonight. Third down and 10, so let's see if Milton now can stand up and recover from the body blows that Alpharetta has delivered here.
Kevin, you know that pass is one of the toughest passes in football because it's all about timing. You get a linebacker coming up and getting in your face and throwing off the timing just by a half a second, and the result is usually an incomplete pass.
Dobbs to throw under pressure. Got a man on his back, and he's going to go down.
Carl Lawson.
Big number 52, the senior. All over the backside of Josh Dobbs, and that will bring up a fourth down. And we'll call it 12.
Kevin, give Milton some credit.
Milton gets off the mat.
They came out, and it's almost a different ball game after that first initial drive of the game. Alpharetta came out strong, and ever since then, Milton's defense has been able to hold.
And we kind of thought that Chase Stratton had gotten that spark back with that nice kickoff return. Alpharetta goes to the flanker, flea flicker, nothing happening there. Milton defense starting to charge down that quarterback a little bit more. And Alpharetta punts it away, takes a good Alpharetta bounce. And there's that guy again, Chase Stratton. It bounces right into his breadbasket at the 19-yard line. So Alpharetta comes up empty on their first possession of the second half. And Milton will go back to work. And you got to think they're going back to work with a new sense of confidence, Chris. I think they really believe now that they've got what it takes to win this ball game and finally get some bragging rights over their crosstown rivals. And I think the mayor of Milton over there, probably off his seat right now.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we're calling number 6, A.J. Bush, and number 25, Peyton Barber's name a lot here.
Keep it on the ground. There is Barber. Runs into a wall, cuts back to the inside, and he'll gain a couple out toward the 24-yard line. So a steady diet of Peyton Barber right now. Run the clock, get some first downs, give your defense a chance to catch a breather.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're Milton, 6 yards on first down, you'll take that all night long.
Second down, and we'll call it a long 4 for the Milton Eagles at their own 25-yard line. Just underway here in the third quarter, 7.5 minutes remaining in the third. From Raiders Stadium, the Milton Eagles lead the home Raiders of Alpharetta 13-7. Bush puts it right in the belly of Barber. Barber breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and he tries to move the pile toward the first down, and we'll have ourselves a regular scrum there at the 30.
And Kevin, did you see where the entire offensive line of Milton was? They were right there at the first down line. They are really asserting themselves. We talked about it. They go about 265, 280, 275, 270 over, across the front, and they came out with some vengeance, and they really did a good job of surging forward and allowing a very easy first down for Milton.
And the Alpharetta offense didn't do their defense any favors, Chris. They didn't hold the football very long, so the defense went right back out on the football field. On first down, they keep it on the ground. Bouncing it outside and picking up some yardage to the corner once again, Trayvon Polk. And that's where he made most of his money in the first half, Chris, cutting the corner and just outrunning those linebackers and corners. And that's going to be very close to a first down.
And you used the term scat back earlier. Trayvon Polk seems like he's more of the scat back, where Peyton Barber's more your possession running back, but he also has the ability to break away and use that elusive speed as well.
And looks like they're going to give Barber a break, bring in number 3, Michael Schweinbeck. Blitz from the outside, and they run right through it. It's going to be Polk. And he's knocked down across midfield at about the 46-yard line of Alpharetta. So the running game really coming together right now. Alpharetta with no answers.
Marshall McConnell, Josh Harris, Corey Helm, Eason Fromion, those guys up front doing a really good job. Nick Wilson, a great job on the Milton Eagles offensive line.
And this has been a no-huddle game on both sides of the football since the opening kick, really keeping the momentum on their side right now. Milton continues to pound away at the center. Here's more Polk into the 40-yard line, maybe just a bit short to the 41.
Good second effort by Polk. Initially, he was hit at the line of scrimmage, but kept his legs moving and moved forward and turned a small gain into a gain of about 5.
Polk's going to get a breather. Back comes Barber. He's joined in the backfield by Purpura, the junior. Chris Purpura, number 2 in the backfield with number 25. And Purpura's going to get the carry. He's looking for the corner, gets a block and gets a nice block. Turns the corner down to the 30-yard line. What a great job on the outside. Looked like number 11 with the first hit there, Eric Abbott. The block that sprung him.
And Peyton Barber actually turned into almost like a pulling guard, going from right to left, doing a really good job of screening the defenders that were coming in from the outside, and just a really good play all around from Milton's offense.
And Chris, you got to think they saw number 25 come back on the field with number 2. Hadn't seen number 2 all night. Everybody keying on number 25. And number 2 gets the ball, and as you said, Barber doing a fantastic job as a blocker, leading his backfield mate around the corner. Give it to Purpura again, going back to the well on the left side. And that's not going to happen. They're going to rip him down, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Continuing to hold the football, keeping it on the ground, Chris, moving that clock as well as moving the chains. Ideal set scenario now for Milton with a 6-point lead.
Tyler Keeley in on the tackle that time for Alpharetta, and they did a good job of stringing the play to the outside and filling the gaps, doing a really good job.
An official's timeout on the field, and Chris Milton also doing a very good job of keeping the 12th man out of this ball game. It is absolutely packed below us, a sea of black and silver. These home fans rooting their team on, opening 2012 up, not what they expected to happen tonight. So keeping the crowd out of it, and we've heard how loud they can be. And right now, all the noise coming from the sea of red on the other side of the football field.
Ideal situation for Milton. Their offense is in sync. They've got the lead. They've got the ball. They're taking big chunks off the field every time they touch the football, and they're taking big chunks off the clock. I mean, live time, we've only been going maybe, 12 minutes maybe? But that clock's already 5 minutes and 13 seconds to go until the fourth quarter, doing a really good job on all aspects of offense right now.
And Alpharetta has only had about half a dozen snaps of the football on the offensive side in this half. And we've already seen Milton put another 3 on the board. They led 10-7 at half. And now here comes Milton once again. Long down in distance, though. 2nd down and 11 from the 26.
Play to your strengths. Right now, that's what Milton is doing.
Possession football, move the chains. Purpura in the backfield along with Barber. A.J. Bush, the quarterback, barking out the signals, taking his time, using all that play clock. And he's going to keep it. He goes option and holds it up the center. That was Schweinbeck that got the fake. Pardon me, I called Purpura's number. It was Schweinbeck.
Good job by the defense with Alpharetta. Big 3rd down conversion coming up for the Raiders defense. If they can stop Milton right here, we know Milton's got a kicker that's got a foot. That's a pretty long field goal right there.
It is. Sorry, but I'm not real thrilled about that decision that time by A.J. Bush. He's been having a lot of success with his running backs. There's no reason for him to just threaten himself and dive in there amongst those big guys with that football, especially on a 2nd and 10. Now it's 3rd and 9, and he's forced into throwing. And he is going to throw it, and it's dropped. Trayvon Polk looked like he might have had a little room. I don't think he was heading for 1st down yardage, Chris.
No blocking.
But he turned his head before he had the football.
Might not have been a bad thing for him to not catch that football, because there was about 6 black jerseys that were right there ready to meet him.
And Chris, I think I go ahead and punt this into the coffin corner, but they're going to go for a field goal.
Well, when you've got a kicker out there.
Looks like it's going to be Mills.
C. Mills in to attempt the field goal for Milton.
Christopher Mills, 42-yard attempt. Snap, set, kick is up. Does it have the legs to get there? Just short. Not going to have enough.
Raiders dodge a big bullet, Kevin.
And there's a momentum swing of some sort for Alpharetta. And we've got an injured player on the field. Looks like an Alpharetta player down at the 31-yard line.
4:22 remaining in the 3rd. Our score, the Eagles 13, Raiders 7.
So 4 minutes, 22 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. And Milton leads 13-7. Now we've got an injured player down. And it looks like a cramp the way they're working on that leg there. That's the best possible news when you see a player writhing in pain.
Kevin, here's a great opportunity for the Raiders right now to regain the momentum. We talked about here in the beginning of the first half how Milton has totally dominated this football game here in most of the first half and here at the beginning of the second half. They dodged the bullet. They forced Milton to kick a field goal, which was just short. And now the Eagles have to give up the ball. Raiders get pretty good field position. Looks like it's, what, about the 26-yard line? Something
yeah, Milton spun their tires a little bit there at the end of that last possession there. They kind of lost their way in deciding what they wanted to do. A.J. Bush, maybe a questionable decision on the option.
Actually, the 20-yard line for Alpharetta. But this is the time right now for Alpharetta. They're only down 6 points. They can get their offense back in the game. You talked about that 12th man, a couple of plays, a couple of first downs, and start opening up the offense again, and you get that 12th man back in the game. And there's a good couple of thousand people down here in the silver and black ready to cheer their Raiders on and try to get the lead back.
Okay, so Chris, let me ask you this. Who do you think this long injury timeout favors? Right now, these teams both getting a chance to take a breather. Looks like Alpharetta's on the field. They're ready to go at the football.
I think it is going to favor Milton because I think if you're Alpharetta, you want to get right back out there and you want to grab that football and you want to go right now, take every little bit of the momentum.
Looks like Trey Whitaker, the injured player, walking off with a cramp. Training staff helping him off to the sideline. So we may see Trey Whitaker back in the football game. Looks like he could be okay, but those cramps tough to come back from on a little bit of humidity in the air. Not a pretty pleasant night, but not one of those dreadful nights where you see a lot of cramping going on. And both these teams showing very good physical conditioning as well.
When the sun was out earlier, it was a little steamy, but now that the sun's down, it's really turned into a beautiful evening.
First down and 10 from their own 20-yard line, trailing by 6. The home Alpharetta Raiders trying to fight back against their crosstown rivals, the Milton Eagles. They go up the middle with the handoff and nothing doing there. Milton absolutely fired up. And Chris, they haven't had anything that could be remotely called success running between the tackles here tonight. I know you got to go back to it to establish and make sure that they know you're going to try, but nothing happening in the center of that line of scrimmage.
Grant Smith doing an excellent job at linebacker filling the gaps. That's about the 10th tackle he's made tonight for Milton.
Loss of 2 on the play, second down and 12. And that one is once again off the fingertips of the intended receiver, number 86, Daniel Clements.
Dobbs once again a little bit too much mustard on that football, Kevin, just a little bit.
And all night, Chris, we've seen it, receivers twisting and turning to try to make adjustments to the football. So even if that ball gets caught, he's not giving his receivers an opportunity to do anything with it and get those yards after the catch. Long down and distance again. Alpharetta with their backs against the wall. Third down and 11. Dobbs to throw. Now he's going to have to scramble. Right side, shakes a couple tacklers, still looking head up downfield. Looks like he's going to have the first down at the 32-yard line, so they lost contain on the quarterback and paid the price, Chris. And it's a big, big break for Alpharetta because nobody was open downfield. Secondary doing a wonderful job.
That might be one of the best decisions that Dobbs has made all night. Instead of trying to force the ball in, which we've seen he's been unsuccessful many times, he did the right thing. He made a couple of great moves to elude the defense, got to the sideline, but the most important thing, he got the first down.
At the 32-yard line, he goes back to work, throws over the middle, actually into the flat. And that's going to be about a 7-yard pickup there. Number 25 on the receiving end, Julian Macon.
Number 25, Julian Macon for an 8-yard gain up to the 40-yard line.
Showed good composure there. Didn't throw it too hard. Chris didn't try to drill it through the receiver's hands. Put it where he could do something with it out in the flat.
Sophomore Corte Sapp making the tackle that time for the Eagles.
Second down and 3 for Alpharetta, trying to get some kind of momentum going offensively. They go on the ground with the option. And nothing happening there. 22, the ball carrier, Lem Cobbs.
The ball carrier for the Raiders, number 22.
So he may have had a yard there, but that's going to be short of a first down. It'll be third and short at their own 41-yard line.
Senior defensive end, number 32, Mitch Williams, making the tackle for Milton.
On the tackle for Milton, number 67, Marshall McConnell.
Really impressed, by the way. Both these teams have adjusted to the no huddle that the opposition has thrown at them. Option up the middle. They go right back to him. Nothing happening there.
Great play by Grant Smith.
On the tackle, number 10,
so they go back to Cobbs. And he's very close, but it will be short of a first down, Chris.
Decision time.
And I don't see a punter running onto the football field, so it looks like Alpharetta has elected to try to make something happen here. Keep the momentum, keep the football. Clock running, 2:35 to go in the third quarter. Alpharetta trails by 6.
What do you think about this decision, Kevin?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Maybe you try to draw him off sides?
And for the first time in a long time, we see Dobbs under center. And that might be exactly what they're trying to do here, Chris, or it might be QB sneak. They are going to snap the football, and they go up the center. I don't think he got it.
No way.
He did not make it. Making the ball carry, they tried to go strong up the middle with power, and it did not work. Milton was ready. Chris, they may have lost a half a yard on that one. Now Milton gets the football back, so not only do you not change field position, do you not keep the football, do you not get your team and your fans into it. I mean, that's like shooting yourself in the foot 3 times with the same bullet.
And Noah Allen made a great play. He got in there and made the initial hit, and then that man, again, Grant Smith. I tell you what, those are a couple of pretty good senior linebackers. Watch 45 for Milton and number 10 for Grant Smith. They do a great job, and once again, Milton with the ball. Excellent field position.
So let's see if Milton can correct the mistakes of their last possession and keep this football. Here's Polk trying to make that left side. Gets a good block from Barber. Cuts it back inside. Now he's going to go against the grain.
Got some room over here.
And he gets a great block, and he is loose on the near sideline. Cuts it back to the 20. At the 20. And he's in. Touchdown, Milton. 41 yards.
Plus about 25 from side to side.
Trayvon Polk, no flags.
There's a turn of events for you, Kevin.
Well, you're going to keep the football, you're going to score, you're going to do it all in one swing. How about that? Trayvon Polk goes 41 yards on a great cutback, and his team didn't give up on him, Chris. He had great blocks on the cutback when he went back against the grain. Fantastic job. And I thought he was going to go out of bounds at the 20, but he turned the corner. Looks like he's down with cramps there on the baseline there.
Did you see his quarterback as Polk peeled back from the left side to the right side? His quarterback leading the charge down the sideline and kind of got in the way of the last safety. And then as you said, I thought Polk was going to go out of bounds.
I just about called him out at the 20-yard line. All of a sudden, he decided he was going to turn upfield, but he planted that right foot in the ground, boy, and he was gone. What a great run. Great heads up and not giving up on the play over there on the far side, Chris. He could have just gone out of bounds, gone back to the huddle, but not this time. Trayvon Polk, what a show. 41 yards for the score, and Milton leads 19-7.
And a quick turn of events, a great fourth down stop by the Milton Eagle defense, and the offense wasting no time with part of that 1-2 punch. Of course, we're talking a lot about Peyton Barber, but it was the scat back, the fleet of foot, Trayvon Polk, creating an exciting touchdown and stretching out the lead for the Eagles.
And that has really quieted the student section here at Alpharetta's Raider Stadium. They were very raucous in the first half when Alpharetta was in control of this football game, but right now all the noise coming from the far side of the field. How about that run by Polk? Polk looks like he's up now, and looks like he's going to make it back over to the sideline to the adulations of the Milton faithful. Here he comes to a roaring Milton Eagles crowd.
And Kevin, still enough time for Alpharetta. We've got a quarter plus 2 minutes to go. Pending the extra point, Milton will be up 20-7, but like I said, plenty of time left for the Alpharetta Raider offense, and they've shown the ability to move the ball. They've just been a little bit stagnant here in the second half and towards the end of the first half.
All right, Coach King, do you go for 2 here to make it 21-7? Just to take that element out of it, or is it too early for that?
I think you go ahead and put the field goal on the board, especially considering Alpharetta's offense has been almost non-existent.
Okay, you are fired. Milton is going for 2 to try to make it an even 21-7, a 2-touchdown lead. They're going to give it to Barber. He's right up the middle, tries to dive over the pile. A little too far away. Did he ride it in? He did. He rode the wave of players in like a body surfer. And Falk, how about that? Peyton Barber on the heels of Trayvon Polk's amazing run.
So you get Polk
21-7 Milton.
Polk makes the great run. He takes a couple of minutes to work out the cramp. He goes off the field. Then you bring Peyton Barber in, the guy who is going to be probably playing in Tuscaloosa next year, and he takes off from about the 4-yard line, and kind of rolls and, as you said, rides a wave into the end zone.
Chris, I thought he dove way too early because he left the ground about the 3-yard line. I thought no chance is he going to get in, and then all the hands of the other players went up. His teammates are jubilant, and he just kind of rode the bodies into the end zone. What a great effort there. And this Milton team right now, the Eagles, I hate to use a cliche, but they are flying high here at Raiders Stadium. No one expected this turn of events at Raiders Stadium. What an amazing effort by the Milton Eagles here tonight. 1:56 remaining in the third quarter, and Milton to kick off to the Raiders right now, who are having trouble getting that standing 8 count right now, Chris.
All the breaks and all the big plays have gone to the Eagles here in the second half and the end of the first half. Once again, like I said, Alpharetta, plenty of time left, and to get the football, they need one thing they haven't been able to do other than that first drive of the game is come to the line and contain a drive. They really need to do that.
Jordan Genovese getting the kickoff duties this time. He's able to put it deep, and that's a perfect kickoff out at the cone. And that's what they lacked on the last kickoff. And that's exactly what Genovese can deliver with that big leg. Alpharetta will go to work on their own 20-yard line, trailing by 2 touchdowns. So, Chris, the conservative offense right now pretty much goes out the window, and your quarterback has got to start putting the ball where it needs to be. There's no time for these off the fingertips or behind the receiver throws. It's time to be accurate and make something happen, get the crowd back in it.
Yeah, Dobbs has to be the one. He has to be the one. He really needs to establish some kind of running game. They need to get the ball and move the ball down the field. We keep forgetting that Alpharetta's defense has stayed on the field a lot. They need to contain some sort of drive, even if they don't get any points, to allow their defense to get some rest and come back on the field fresh and try to stop Milton, but there's plenty of time left.
3 wide spread to the right side for Josh Dobbs, and we're going to have a timeout for Alpharetta. That is not the way you want to come out after a turn of possession with some confusion out there on the offensive side of the football. They are out of sorts over there, Chris.
Yeah, as you said, coming out of a timeout, going right back into a timeout, I can see the crimson shirts.
And you can hear the murmur in the crowd. It's a very nervous sound emanating up out of the student section as well as the packed grandstands here. They are really nervous about this turn of events.
Well, Alpharetta came into this game top 10 in the state. I believe they're ranked as high as number 9 in a lot of the polls in the state of Georgia, so you kind of felt they had a good chance. And as I said, I keep beating a dead horse. It's not impossible for Alpharetta to come back in this ball game, but they've got to do something to sustain something offensively. And as you said earlier, it starts with the quarterback, Josh Dobbs.
And Josh Dobbs comes out with a 3 wide set to his right. Single setback from the shotgun. Alpharetta needs 2 touchdowns to tie the football game. Here begins their march. They're going to go near side into the flat. And Julian Macon, the receiver, he'll stay in bounds at the 22-yard line. Short gain. So little bites like that with the clock running, Chris, not going to do it. 1:40 and counting here in the 3rd period.
And another one of those exciting linebackers, this time sophomore, Corte Sapp, number 14, making the tackle.
Corte Sapp starting to get more involved in this game as it wears on. Good nose for the football over there. A little tighter 3 wide set now for Dobbs. And he's going to roll that way. On the run, fires downfield, and that's not going to happen for Blake Rowlandson. He just has not had the accuracy that he needs to be effective here tonight, Chris. They are really not, I don't think they're really intimidated by the passing game. And speaking of Milton's defense, it doesn't look like they respect the passing game of Alpharetta because Alpharetta hasn't shown to be dangerous.
Decision-making that time, it looked like Dobbs, as he was rolling to the right, had plenty of room. If he just tucked it in and ran to the sticks, he would have had the first down out of bounds and a fresh set of downs. Instead, it's 3rd and long.
3-man front now for the Milton Eagles. On 3rd and 7, Dobbs in trouble, fires over the middle, got a man.
Good hands.
And that's going to be very, very close to a first down. Daniel Clements on the receiving end of that one, and that will be good enough for a first down. So on 3rd and 7, they pick up 8. And that'll get the crowd back into it a little bit.
And Kevin, if you notice, Clements has kind of been that possession receiver.
He's been the Wes Welker for him tonight.
He's been the one when he needed somebody to catch one 7 to 10 yards down the field, the crossing pattern, and Clements has come up with that ball many times.
Excellent call. Good chemistry between those 2 guys here. Dobbs to throw again, looking far down the field this time, and he's got a man. Finally, he connects, and there's your man, Burst, Chris, down at the 20-yard line. First time tonight that they've been able to connect on a downfield throw, and that really fires up the student section.
Burst got one-on-one coverage and just streaked down the field. And Kevin, we talked about that gun and that bullet of Josh Dobbs. He showed it that time, putting the ball right on the money, and Burst using his long and lanky body, bringing in an incredible catch.
And that is exactly what the doctor ordered for the Alpharetta Raiders. An official timeout as they move the chains down. Those guys moving the chains don't move as fast as this no-huddle offense.
Very streaky, this Alpharetta offense, Kevin.
Well, that's 1 out of a dozen that Dobbs has been able to put on the money. I think if he puts a few more in the receiver's hands, this is a different football game. And he wants to throw again, looking confidently over the middle, and he's got another man at the 15-yard line, trying to break tackles down to the 10. Rodney Morris. And that'll move the chains with the, or excuse me, that'll move the chains and stop the clock, Chris. 42.3 And it would really be something if they could claw back into this one, maybe be just a touchdown down as they head into the fourth quarter.
And as I mentioned earlier, a play or two and you get your confidence going, and anything's possible.
Milton showing blitz. They do come. It's a flanker screen to Burst. Breaks a tackle at the 10, breaking more tackles. A flag down at the 15-yard line. And Burst fights his way down to the 4. Let's check out the flag.
6 yards on the tackle for the Eagles.
You'd hate to think it might be in some kind of illegal block.
Yeah, when you throw a flanker screen out there, you've got those guys coming back, trying to get a hand on a blocker.
Penalty on the play.
And it does look like another self-inflicted wound by Alpharetta. Remember, earlier in the first half, a 30-yard punt return called back, a touchdown called back, and now the flanker screen to Burst, trying to create a little excitement, energy, momentum. The penalty bites him back to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and if I can borrow the words you just used, that may have taken away the excitement and the momentum. But it is up to Alpharetta to wave off that penalty. They've still got great field position. They still have first down and plenty of football left in this game.
30 seconds remaining in the third period. Dobbs to throw, looking, still plenty of time. Going to roll out. Plenty of room on that far side. Look at all the daylight he's got there. Hurdling tacklers inside the 10 to the 5. Breaking tackles, reaches at the 1. Ball comes out. The football came out at the 1-yard line. Now they're going to say touchdown. Touchdown, Alpharetta.
Well, initially, it looked as if Dobbs reached forward, and it didn't look like the ball broke the plane, but I can't really see that from here. The ball came loose, but according to the officials, the ball did break the plane, and Alpharetta did exactly what they needed to do, Kevin. They struck back, and they struck back quickly.
That was second, third, fourth, and fifth effort. And now Alpharetta trying to cut it to 7 at the death of the third quarter. Snap, set, and kick are good. So just like that, you can hear the crowd roaring here at Raiders Stadium. The home Raiders have drawn to within 7 with 11.9 remaining in the third period. Chris, what a turn of events. Just when it looked like Alpharetta was demoralized, shooting themselves in the foot with penalties and mistakes, their quarterback carries them into the end zone. What a great effort.
And Kevin, we mentioned decision-making by Josh Dobbs. We both felt that a couple of times he's had the ability, he's had the room to tuck the ball and run when he didn't have anybody open. Instead, he tried to thread the ball into some guys who maybe were not open. That time, he tucked the ball, he ran, he used his athletic ability, and as you said, third, fourth, fifth effort, lunged to the goal line, and all of a sudden we got a ball game again.
And that is really going to bring this crowd back into the football game now, and Milton's going to have to deal with that. 11.9 remaining in the third quarter. Milton 21, Alpharetta 14. Chris, how big is that 2-point conversion for Milton on that last touchdown?
Yeah,
huge. The one that you didn't call.
The one that I didn't call, exactly. It is, because it's a 7-point game right now. But if you're the Alpharetta Raiders defense, one of the things you have to do, and we mentioned it, even though the offense scored quickly, the defense has been on the field a lot, and they have to come right back out. So it's the job of the Alpharetta Raider defense to kind of suck it up. I know they may be a little winded a little bit. Kind of suck it up. It looks like the crowd's trying to get into the ball game. 7 points, 12 seconds to go, an entire fourth quarter. Real excitement going on here in Alpharetta.
Well, the excitement twins are back deep to receive. Polk and Barber for the Milton Eagles. Let's see if either one of those guys gets an opportunity here. Turning into a barn burner here in Alpharetta on a Friday night to kick off the 2012 season. That ball's going to bounce right at Barber, and he's going to let it get into the...
I believe Alpharetta was offsides.
We've got flags on the field.
Whoever lined up on the far end of the field definitely
inexcusable.
Crossed the line prior to the ball being kicked.
Chris, we saw a ton of it last week at Lakeside versus Holy Innocents. Just mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, and it finally came back to bite.
Kevin, the last thing you want to do if you're Alpharetta is give those two exciting players back there a second opportunity to return the football.
Excellent point, Chris, because right now I really highly doubt that they will be able to knock this into the end zone from their own 35-yard line.
Arguably,
Thomas Waller, the junior kicker, is going to need a big foot.
Arguably the two most potent offensive threats for Milton are back deep in Trayvon Polk and number 25, Peyton Barber.
So these guys got to be chomping at the bit right now to get their hands on this.
And if I was Alpharetta, I wouldn't kick it deep.
This is a field position altering penalty right now, Chris. That 5 yards.
Please get down. Thank you.
Really, really could translate into a big difference here in field position. They are going to dump it short, little sand wedge, and a fair catch is called for at the 26-yard line. And that's a good call right there and a good play, good heads-up play. Number 11 there, Eric Abbott on the receiving end. And the clock did not start, so we still have 11.9 remaining in the third period. Milton leading 21-14 will have the football at their own 26-yard line.
So Kevin, it's Alpharetta's defense trying to extend the momentum after the big touchdown by the quarterback Josh Dobbs, and it's Milton's offense seeing to see if they can get things going and start moving that football like they've done for the majority of the football game.
Keep it on the ground, give it to Barber, looking for room in the center of the line. Not much happening, maybe 3 out to the 30-yard line, and that will be the end of our third period here at Raiders Stadium. Remember, football fans, PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here. That's the end of the third quarter from Raiders Stadium with your score, the Milton Eagles 21 and the Alpharetta Raiders 14. We'll be right back. We are right back to the action as the fourth quarter kicks off from Raiders Stadium. Milton Eagles with the lead and the football. They're going to keep it on the ground. Barber looks inside, then cuts it outside, sticks his foot in the ground and gets enough to a first down at the 41-yard line. Boy, Chris, he has got great vision between the tackles. Never puts his head down, always looking for that gap there. What a great job there. And that is exactly what Milton needs to do here for the remainder of this football game. Keep the football, move the chains, and put some more points on the board.
And it does take a special athlete to do what Barber just did.
Fantastic job tonight by Peyton Barber. Very impressed with that young man. First down and 10, Eagles at their own 40. It's going to be Bush on the keeper looking for a block and gets it. Out on the corner, gets another block, turns the corner and gets a couple of yards out there at the 43-yard line. A little slow developing play, but nobody gave up on the play, Chris. A nice job there blocking for the quarterback as he was freelancing over there on the side.
And it was Polk again along with Barber. Those guys doing a good job in peel back, crack back blocks, trying to protect their quarterback. Kevin, that play should have actually gone for negative yards, but instead they got 3 very, very tough yards.
Second down and 7 for the Eagles. Going to give it to Polk this time on the option, and he is tied up there, Chris. He doesn't have the size of Peyton Barber to break those kinds of tackles, just yanked down by his jersey. And no gain on the play for Trayvon Polk.
Butcher, the sophomore lineman, made the tackle that time. Big play for the Alpharetta defense, Kevin. Third long.
Huge play for them. They need something good to happen on the black side of the football. Third down and 7. Milton Eagles looking for an upset. Their crosstown rivals on their ground. Bush to throw, heaves it down the sideline, and that's broken up. That's a jump ball situation over there And
Great
looked like
defense.
Malik Mitchell is the intended receiver.
Great defense by Trey Whitaker that time.
So time to punt the football away and play field position, Chris. Now it is time for the Milton Eagles defense to show what they're made of. And this is really going to get the Raider faithful into this football game.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger back deep to receive for the Raiders.
Mr. Everything back there, Carlos Burse.
Into the punt for Milton, number 84, Jeremy Phillips. Carlos Burse back deep for the Raiders.
Looks like Moskowitz going to punt this one away from his own 31-yard line.
Great height.
High spiral, won't turn over, but a great job there. And that's going to take a Milton bounce. Look at this coffin corner working to perfection, out of bounds at the 6-yard line. That is absolute perfection by Moskowitz.
Special teams coach meeting his kicker 5 yards onto the field for a big chest bump. That was a great kick, and it turned over and rolled perfectly for the Milton team.
Chris, we talked about that before we even kicked off tonight. Looked like both teams had excellent kickers and excellent punters. And that right there is one of those X factors that the team will remember. Maybe the spectators or folks watching playonsports.com won't notice when the game is all over with, but that is a key play in this football game, forcing Alpharetta to go the distance 94 yards away.
Kevin, one of the guys we haven't mentioned for Alpharetta pretty much at all in the second half. Watch the single man who split wide out, number 1, Andre Harton. His name was mentioned a few times in the first half. He's made a couple of big plays. I think they're going to try to focus on him and try to get him the ball here in the second half.
Got an official timeout on the football field. Chris, I think what's happening here tonight is the officials are taking timeouts for the teams to get refreshment. Basically what I've noticed, there hasn't been any kind of technical difficulty or any kind of discussions on the field. I think based on the heat, the fact that we're playing in August in Atlanta, that the Georgia High School Association may have mandated some of these competition cautions, if you will.
Kevin, I will have to say, this has been one of the more exciting nights for quarterbacks. 2 really exciting quarterbacks on both sides of the field in A.J. Bush and Josh Dobbs. We've really seen some great decision making by both kids. A couple of times they've made some decisions that maybe weren't the best, but that's all part of the growing pains of being out there leading a top school like both of these teams do. But it's been a really well-played ball game for the most part by both quarterbacks.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Chris. I think there's a handful of guys out there we're going to see playing on Saturday afternoons in the near future, especially the guy carrying the football over there in the white jersey, that number 25, Peyton Barber. He is really something. All right, out of the official timeout, 1st down and 10 from their own 6-yard line. Here is Dobbs to throw, looking over the center, looking for Burse, and he's going to overthrow him by about 10 yards. That was covered there nicely. Nothing happening. There's Joe Phillips out there running one-on-one coverage. But Chris, we've been singing this song, and I'm kind of tired of singing it, but Dobbs has just not been dialed in with those sights tonight. He just has not been accurate at all.
And every time we say something like they've done a really good job, they've ran for the most part an impressive game, then he goes back and does it. But I will tell you what, one-on-one, you like your chances with Burst more times than none. Just Dobbs could not get it to him.
Quarterback draw this time. He's got room out to the 9-yard line, hurdles a tackler, and he's going to stay in bounds at the 11-yard line. That'll be short of the 1st down for Alpharetta.
Down at the 12-yard line.
It'll be 3rd down and about 5.
On the tackle for Milton, Sapp.
Approaching 10 minutes to play in the football game. Milton leads Alpharetta 21-14, a surprising score line.
Kevin,
based on coming in here.
Important for the Raiders to get this 1st down. They want to continue the drive. They don't want to give the ball right back to Milton. Not a good throw that time.
Tried to run that short slant to the wideout, and that one short hopped him about 3 yards. And Chris, that's a 3-and-out, absolutely worst case scenario. After the great coffin corner punt, you need to at least try to adjust the field position. And right now, Milton stands to get the football back on the Alpharetta side of the field on this exchange.
Carl Lawson doing a really good job of pressuring Josh Dobbs that time.
And you talk about, I'm sorry, Chris, you talk about pulling on Superman's cape, back deep to receive the punt, number 25, Peyton Barber. So Alpharetta really needs a big punt here out of Evan Trout. And Milton looks like they're going to take a timeout.
We have a timeout on the field. Timeout, Milton.
And I think I'd probably take a timeout if I was Alpharetta to make sure my coverage team knew exactly what we are going to do with this thing. Because you've got number 25 back there with room to run. You give him the football, you might find yourself out of this football game.
Well, Kevin, if you're Milton, you've shown what you want to do when you get the ball. You want to control the ball. You want to run the ball with Polk. You want to run the ball with Bush. You want to run the ball with Peyton Barber. You want to use that big offensive line, and you want to run clock. Now, barring anything unexpected, Milton should get pretty good field position here. They're going to have, like you said, they're going to have a great guy returning the kick in Peyton Barber.
Trout needs to get the punt of his young career. Right here, he's going to be about 5 yards deep in his own end zone when he gets the football. And Peyton Barber drifts back around his near midfield. His team's setting up a return for him there. Not really going to rush this punter. Critical moment in this football game. Trout needs a good punt, and Barber can change everything with a good return. No pressure on Trout. He gets a good nose-up spiral off. Barber's going to let that one bounce. It takes a great Alpharetta bounce across midfield. And it looks like Stratton will down it there at the 44-yard line. It's a 50-yard punt. No return for Milton, but great field position, Chris. 9:47 to play in this one. Milton with the lead and the football.
Nothing fancy here. And Kevin, if you remember the last time Milton had the football, third down, and what did they do? They went deep. They went for the big play. That, to me, is not what Milton has shown in this game as far as being Eagle football. They want to control the ball. They want to move the ball 6, 7, 8 yards at a time and take advantage of their weapons they have. What a great hole up the middle.
Right up the middle with Peyton Barber continuing to drive those legs. You can see why Nick Saban is high on this kid. What a great talent. That is going to be good enough for a first down. 12-yard carry by Peyton Barber. Butcher brings him down, but not before moving the chains and advancing into Alpharetta territory. Chris, that's exactly what Milton needs to do right now.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the recruitment of some of those offensive linemen, some of those seniors, but I suspect there are a lot of college scouts that are looking at those guys as well.
Well, Barber can't do it on his own. He gets the football here again, breaks a tackle at the 40, a stiff arm at the 32, one man to beat into the end zone. Let's see what the call is. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds at near the 2-yard line.
Run by number 25.
Not to be outdone by his backfield running mate, Peyton Barber, looking to do something special, knocked out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
And then if that's not incredible enough, he runs off, gets a breather, and Polk comes in again.
Polk and Purpura now in the backfield behind A.J. Bush. A.J. Bush goes under center this time. Give it to Polk. Backs in. Touchdown, Milton! He turned his back on the line of scrimmage and walked in backwards. Touchdown, Milton. 27-14, waiting for the point.
And Kevin, that's Eagle football right there.
All set up by the wonderful punt a couple moments ago. Changed field position, changed everything. Milton took advantage. And of course, all Bush has to do is hand it off to one of those superstars in his backfield, and they're off to the races. What a great effort there, and that has really quieted the student section here at Raiders Stadium. 9:18 to play in the football game. Eagles looking to go up 28-14.
And not only is Peyton Barber doing an incredible job tonight, and I keep harping on the offensive line. I mean, I know, great quarterbacks and great running backs, they know if they have a great offensive line, it makes everybody that much greater. And they will be the first ones to go over and pat those guys on the fanny up there that are doing a really good job on the line. McConnell, Harris, Helm, Wilson, those guys are doing a phenomenal job as we've got somebody down. Looks like they may be suffering from a little bit of dehydration, maybe a cramp down there.
And Chris, just to piggyback on the point you made, I think the college scouts know that you don't have a great running back without great blocking. You can't do it on your own at this level. And these big guys up front that you've been talking about have absolutely earned all the credit. for a quality offensive line doing its job tonight.
There's a couple of seniors on the other side of the field that should be given some note as well. Noah Allen doing a really, really good job, one of their senior linebackers back there.
And you just look at the body language of the sideline of Alpharetta. Everybody down on a knee, kind of walking around, looking down at the ground. The cheerleaders are kind of kicking stones right now. Really taking the wind out of the sails here for the home opener. A lot of excitement around Raider Stadium this afternoon. They had shirts made up, Beat Milton. Everybody's walking around these Beat Milton shirts. A lot of confidence, very high level of confidence coming in here. No one expected this turn of events here tonight.
The Raiders have shown they do have the big playability, but do they have enough time to come back from a 14-point deficit? Well, we assume it's going to be a 14-point deficit with about 9 and some change to go.
I think the difference in this one is going to be Josh Dobbs' inability to hit his receivers when he needed to. Extra point is up, and the extra point is good. The Milton Eagles take the lead and extend the lead 28-14 over the Alpharetta Raiders. How about that? 9:18 remaining, Chris. 2 touchdowns. Alpharetta has got to get to work.
And we mentioned the Alpharetta defense spending so much time on the field. Alpharetta did a good job of getting the ball, but they scored quickly. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you score or when you score. You want to put points on the board as quick as you can when you're behind. But if there is a negative, it was the fact, and we mentioned it earlier, that their defense didn't get a whole lot of time to rest. They came back on the field, and look what happened. 1, 2, couple of plays, boom, touchdown, and they really look like they're reeling right now.
56 yards.
So hugely impressed by Peyton Barber here tonight.
Pretty good region too. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Roswell's in that region as well. You know, so they've got some pretty good football teams. And if I'm not mistaken, later on in our schedule, a few weeks down the road, we will be back here broadcasting the Alpharetta and the Roswell Hornets football game.
That will be a barn burner.
Actually, I believe that's at Roswell.
I think it is. I think you're right. Boy, if this score line holds, will this send ripples through the Georgia High School Association? A line drive kickoff going to be fielded at the 1. Burst right up the middle with room out to the 37, 38-yard line. Boy, those loping strides.
He always gives you a chance. He always gives you a chance.
Kickoff return.
About that. 27-yard return.
Why would you even kick it to him?
At the 1-yard line. 37-yard return. Tackle made by number 12.
Well, let's see what Dobbs does when he comes back up. No time to waste. They got to put two touchdowns on the board pretty quick, and they also have to do it at the same time. Stop Milton's very potent second half offense.
And they have to remain mistake-free, Chris. Mistakes will kill you at this point of the game when you've got to make something happen. Dobbs looking left to throw. Almost hits the defender in the back. And that's going to be a short game.
And I think had the defender been watching the ball, that might have been a pick 6.
They mark it at the 44. 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5.
Decent gain on first down.
2nd down and 5 for the Raiders. Dobbs with time, going to air it out near side, looking for bursts. And that ball is intercepted on the near sideline.
Wow.
Gerald Knight.
And you could see Knight. You know, I mentioned earlier that there could have possibly been a pick 6 earlier, but Knight, what he did is as soon as the ball came out of the quarterback's hands, he picked up the ball. He followed it the entire way. He did not follow the receiver. The receiver stopped. Knight went jump ball with the receiver and went up and made an incredible interception.
And a poorly thrown ball, Chris. The receiver had to stop and come back for the football, and Jarrell Knight was right there. And a nice job by Alpharetta to knock him out of bounds. He had room on the near sideline if he was able to break that tackle.
And once again, the tired and depleted Raider offense right back on the field.
And right now, 8:35 remaining in this football game. If Milton can keep it on the ground, move the chains, they could really finish off Alpharetta here with a couple of good possessions. And they are going to keep it on the ground. They will go to Barber. He breaks tackles at the 35-yard line, picks up about 6.
With the carry up to the 37-yard line.
How confident are you when you have a player like Barber that you know is going to get you positive yardage every time he touches the ball, even when they hit him in the backfield? He has the ability and he has the prowess and the know-how to keep his legs moving forward and get a gain. He should have only gotten about 2 or 3 yards on that play.
And Chris, you and I have watched enough football to understand that when your running back is going well, it fires up those offensive linemen. They get pumped up because they're part of it. Here he goes again, breaking tackles, skipping inside, reaching forward, another first down across midfield. Peyton Barber, unstoppable. And right on cue, the big man up front, breaking holes, wide open for their running back.
And huge holes.
Wow, he is strong, too. That number 25 is a strong young man.
There are holes on that offensive line that trucks could run through right there. Everybody's in sync right there on that Milton offense.
So they give him a breather, and then they come back with Polk, the jitterbug. So a whole new set of problems for Alpharetta to deal with now. Where Trayvon Polk has really been making a lot of money on the outside, getting around those corners.
Milton taking her time.
And Papura in the backfield along with him. Looks like Jacob Dickman in there as well. Number 43. They will give it to Polk. He scoots and shuffles across the line of scrimmage, gains maybe 3. Into Alpharetta territory at the 47-yard line. So a whole different element that Polk brings from Barber. I mean, Barber's going to run you over, or at least try to. Polk's going to make it impossible to grab him.
He sort of slivered through.
He breaks you down.
A hole that really wasn't there and got 2 yards.
2nd down and 8. The clock continues to run now. 7 minutes to play in the ball game.
And once again, the Milton offense looking over at their coaches as they're allowing time to tick off the clock.
Starting to see some folks head for the exits here at Raider Stadium. The clock is their enemy. Under 7 minutes now, 6:45. This is going to be Polk, juking his way through tacklers down to the 40-yard line, very close to another first down. Bring up a 3rd down and short.
And Kevin, you're starting to see it at all levels, high school, college, and professional football. The teams that are successful have a couple of backs that they can depend on, not just one, but 2.
That bring different styles too, Chris. I think you've got your power back and then you've got your scat back, for lack of a better description. So Milton really have something going here, and doing it against a high-quality outfit too. This is not a team that they were expected to run over. Look at that line of scrimmage right now on 3rd down and short. Give it to Barber, shakes the tackler on the outside, almost broke free, and he's going to lose a couple of yards at the 42-yard line. So that's a 4th down for Milton.
That's good penetration there by Johnson and Mustafa that time, stopping Milton on 4th down.
Okay, Coach, do you coffin corner here, or do you go for it? What do you do? 4th down, and we'll call it 3.
You know, I'd go for it. Alpharetta hasn't shown that they can stop Milton here in the second half in a short yardage situation. Other than that particular play, I say you go for it.
All right, and this is going to happen without Peyton Barber on the football field. It's Polk in the backfield now. Bush under center.
Try to draw him off,
and he does. Alpharetta, absolutely the last thing they could afford to do. They went ahead and did it.
You take advantage of the anxiousness of Alpharetta's defense, because everybody over there is thinking, you know what, this is our last shot. We have to stop Milton right here. And
on the defense.
It's just tough. You know, you hate to see that for the kids, but a very, very smart, experienced decision by Milton and their offensive scheme, and it worked.
Lots of heads and hands on this Alpharetta sideline. And unfortunately, Chris, the mistakes have been mostly on the Alpharetta side of the football at the worst times. Milton has made their share, but they have not been those fatal errors that Alpharetta has incurred. Remember, they got a touchdown called back as a result of a penalty. A 30-yard punt return called back as a result of a mistake. 1st down and 10 for Milton. Going to give it to Polk. He sidesteps the tackler at the line of scrimmage, and they're going to rip him down for a loss of 3 back at the 40-yard line.
Big Jalen Johnson on the tackle. Kevin, if you look and see what Milton's trying to do, every time they run a play, the play takes anywhere from 5 to 9 seconds. Then they're going to take their time coming back to the line. Then they're going to turn over and look at their coaches. They're looking to take about 30 to 45 seconds off the clock every single time they run a play, and that's just going to replenish the time left in the ballgame.
Just to illustrate your point, Chris, 4:13 on the clock right now. It'll be under 4 before they snap the football. And there we go, under 4 minutes to play. Going to try near side this time with a ball fake. A great job by Bush. And he's loose down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds at the 10. Well, he fooled me with that ball fake, Chris. That was a great job of ball handling by the quarterback.
And when you put a couple of eyes on Polk and you put a couple of eyes on Barber, then there goes Bush. Bush is another one of those guys who's elusive. He can get to the outside. He can show you his speed as he did right there, and a big play for Milton's offense.
Nice job, knocked out of bounds at the 10-yard line. See if we'll make it 1st and goal if we just outside the 10. And it will be 1st and goal. And we're going to have whistles before we get a chance to snap this one.
Kevin, a very impressive performance by the Milton offense here in the second half.
Well, remember, both offenses came out on fire, and then the second quarter turned into a defensive battle. And then Milton kind of found their legs. Alpharetta, Chris, do you think they got a little nervous, realizing they were in a dogfight here in their home stadium? I think not overconfident, but I think Alpharetta expected to come out of here with a W tonight, and they have been shocked.
Well, where the momentum changed, in my opinion, was at the end of the first half, where Milton went in and scored, and then came out and scored again at the beginning of the second half. That really put the Eagles in control of the ballgame.
So winning the coin toss and deferring until the second half worked into their favor as well. Everything going Milton's way here tonight. Back to Peyton Barber off the right side. A couple of yards there, and that will keep the clock running. 3:40 and ticking.
And I would suspect that this play will not run anytime before 3:05. It'll be almost 3 minutes to go in this ball game before the Eagles run another offensive play. In no hurry at all, and no need to be in any hurry.
Well, it looks like the city of Alpharetta belongs to the Milton Eagles here tonight. The Alpharetta Derby.
2nd down and 9.
Is going to go to the red and white, barring a miraculous comeback. Going to keep it on the ground, go to Polk. No, another ball fake. A great job by Bush, and he's going to trot into the end zone. Touchdown, Milton. Well, he is faking everybody out with that ball fake, including this announcer. Touchdown, Eagles.
Well, I do not believe Barber was in the game that time, but there's about 7 black jerseys and a gray polo that thought Trayvon Polk, and a blue polo thought Trayvon Polk had the football. And once again, when you've got those weapons, not only are they effective when they have the ball, they're just as effective when they don't have the ball, because the defense thinks they have the ball. So Bush did a good job of taking the ball, tucking it, and we talked about that speed he had to the corner. Did a good job of getting a quick touchdown for the Eagles.
He looked a little like Cam Newton before when he took his foot off the gas getting in there. But he did just the same. The kick is up, and the kick is good. With 2:56 remaining in the football game from Raider Stadium, it's the Milton Eagles 35, the Alpharetta Raiders 14.
Seconds remain in the game.
And I am really, really impressed, Chris. And I think the ball skills, the ball handling skills of A.J. Bush, as you just documented, have really kept the defense off balance. I know they've kept me off balance, but he really got it together. He's got great synergy with those running backs. When he puts that ball in there, he reads that mark, that indicator as to when he's supposed to, the key, if you will, when he's supposed to pull that ball back, and has done a wonderful, wonderful job of running this offense here tonight.
And I tell you what, people better beware of this Milton Eagles ball club. Not only on offense, they've shown they can put some points on the board. 35 points, very, very impressive. But they've got some guys on defense. They've got big playmakers on both sides of the ball, and it'll be interesting to see how they progress in this very, very tough 6A region, I guess you could say.
Well, Chris, there's offense, there's defense, and there's special teams. I think Milton has shown that they are very competent on all three aspects of the football game and have done a great job against a really, really tough opponent here, a true test of what they are on opening night. They should be very, very proud of their efforts here tonight. 35 points on the board at Alpharetta. 2:56 remaining in the football game. And Alpharetta will get it one more time. And they need something good to happen. They're going to go ahead and take this one up the field. Stratton with speed up the gut. Breaks a tackle, straight arms a tackler, and he's going to be ripped down the kicker, last man to get him. A great return by Chase Stratton. And Christopher Mills was the only guy left. And Mills did a nice job holding on and ripping him down. Nice speed by Stratton shown there. And unfortunately, too little, too late.
Pretty sure my broadcast partner, proud and smiling, being a former kicker himself, having the kicker make what looked like being a touchdown-saving tackle.
It sure did, and I'll tell you what, Chase Stratton really exploded through the coverage there on that short kick. So Alpharetta with 2:55 remaining in the football game. They trail 35-14. Now let's see what kind of courage these guys have to play this one out. Dobbs in trouble, looking. He's going to go down at the 40-yard line. The ball is out. Nobody noticed it. And they're going to blow it dead. I thought the football came out before he went down.
It was Lawson again. Boy, I tell you, these linebackers, Lawson, Allen, these guys are playing an incredible ball game tonight.
And Grant Piegler, too. Grant Piegler's played a whale of a game, number 54. I'm right there with you, Chris. These linebackers have done a great job. Dobbs to throw, looking. Stops and fires. That one's almost intercepted twice.
Kevin, you can definitely tell that the Alpharetta offensive line is dejected because what's happening right now is Milton is getting pressure on the Alpharetta quarterback just with a three-man front.
And the opposite side of the field, a sea of red. The band is rocking, and it is jubilation on the Milton side of the field. And the sea of black that was beneath us, Chris, is very sparse right now. A lot of folks kicking off their Labor Day weekend a little early.
Pressure again.
More pressure on the quarterback this time, running for his life. And hits Burse, a great catch behind his head. How about that? Carlos Burse at the 10-yard line, make it the 9. Really bails out his quarterback that time.
And I tell you what, Alpharetta may lose this football game, but you've really, really got to like the ability of that long, lanky kid, number 81, Carlos Burse. He's made some great catches. He's made some great punt returns, and that right there is a highlight type catch.
That was a fantastic catch. He had to spin around in midair and catch the ball behind his head. 2 minutes to play in the football game. Alpharetta trying to make something out of nothing, and they do. A nice touchdown pass, 9 yards.
Very impressive.
9-yard touchdown connection. Dobbs to Clemens.
Austin Lake on the receiving end.
Another 6 on the board.
There's still a little fire left in the homestanding Raiders.
This is what I was talking about, Chris. What kind of courage, what kind of heart does your team have? Are they going to go out there and lay down? And Alpharetta did not. Kick is up, and the kick is good. It makes it 35-21.
So down by 14, you would suspect that the Raiders will bring on their onside kick team, their hands team, see if they can make something happen here just under 2 minutes to go in the ballgame.
So nice job there of not throwing in the towel, as it were. We're using the, speaking in the fighting vernacular most of the night here with these guys trading body blows and knockout punches. But a nice job there for Alpharetta to come out and not lay down, knowing that the game is pretty much done and dusted.
Well, you get one shot here, onside kick. If you get it back, you got a chance. If not, Milton runs a play or two, takes a knee, and goes home with a win.
So definitely onside kick time for the Raiders. And I'm sure that Milton will send their hands team out as well. And they absolutely will. Looks like Trayvon Polk and Peyton Barber will only set up around their own 25-yard line. And it looks like they're going to go left side with this onside kick.
Kevin, you being a former kicker, how tough is it to make that ball, make that bounce and that tumble to go straight up in the air?
You can only do what you can do with the ball, Chris. It's all the way. You know, footballs bounce wacky. That's just the nature of a football. You can only hit it in a certain spot and hope it does what you want it to do. And that's a good one right there. Takes a good hop, but he didn't hit that laterally enough. And still a scrum down there on the field. Alpharetta saying they have it. And we're going to see what the guys in the striped shirts say. That was a pretty good onside kick there. Probably could have been a little more down the line instead of more at Milton. And
Raiders
looks like
have it.
Looks like the Raiders have the football, so they've converted on the onside kick.
So still a glimmer of hope for the homestanding Raiders.
1:49 remaining in the football game. Alpharetta down by 2 touchdowns, has the football at the Milton 46-yard line. I think I see a couple of people out in the parking lot turning around, Chris.
So Dobbs and the Alpharetta offense, they'll get another chance.
And I think more of the same. You've got to just, throw caution to the wind out there. Let your quarterback do what he does, make something happen, create, get burst down the football field, maybe a jump ball situation with Jarrell Knight again because he outmeasures him by about 6 inches.
Looks like we're going to have a safety cheating over and possibly to help on burst.
You do have strong side help over here on burst with Jarrell Knight not giving him the outside. Dobbs is going to run it now. He's off to the races. Cuts back inside, a spin move at the 12. Breaks another tackle. He's going to score.
How about
touchdown, Alpharetta. 46 yards.
Not finished yet. Not finished yet. What gut and determination and grit by this Alpharetta football team, Kevin. Let's face it, you and I, 4 minutes ago, said the game was over. And for all intents and purposes, it was.
That took 15 seconds, Chris. 1:34 remaining in the football game.
Now, you mentioned a little while ago, if you see this score across the state, people are going to get a little wide-eyed. Well, if they see that with under 3 minutes to go, it was a 21-point game, and now with about a minute and a half to go, it's a 7-point game.
This is a critical extra point, Chris, and it's good. 35-28. So the onside kick and the touchdown took 15 seconds off the clock. You talk about quick strike ability. How about that Dobbs on that run? The whole field opened up for him, and he dared them to bring him down.
And Kevin, I think one of the reasons why that field opened up is because there was about 3 or 4 red jerseys that were over trying to make sure that Burst was not going to touch that football. Burst had a cornerback on him, he had a safety, I think a linebacker, and kind of drifted back in order to try to make sure Burst didn't get the ball. And Dobbs did a good thing. He rolled to the right, and he saw about 40 yards of green in front of him, and he took off. And then when the contact started, he just used his athletic ability to spin and cut to the left, and all of a sudden it's a 7-point ball game.
Both these quarterbacks are big kids, Chris. You are not going to knock them down. You have got to tackle them. And that is one thing that we've seen on both sides of the football here tonight. They have not tackled the quarterbacks very well.
And Kevin, I know you mentioned it before, but how important is that 2-point conversion from earlier?
So once again, we find ourselves back in an onside kick situation. And based on what we just saw, 134 is an eternity. Can Alpharetta find a way to claw, scratch, dig, and fight their way back into this football game? Onside kick is a good one, and Milton's going to cover this one up. See, Chris, that onside kick didn't take that extra high hop to create the confusion and make guys reach and touch. That was just drilled as a ground ball to short. And now Milton
looks like it was
has to hold on.
Looks like Purpura was the guy who recovered it from Milton.
I didn't think I'd be saying that tonight, Chris. After I saw a 21-point lead turned into a 7-point lead, now Milton clinging. But look at the difference in the body language of the players in the sideline of Alpharetta. 20 minutes ago, they were on a knee. They were kind of kicking dirt around, just hanging their heads. Now, Milton, a couple of first downs, and they can put this one to bed.
Well, there's 2 timeouts on the board remaining for Alpharetta. So you're right. One timeout, one first down definitely they will need.
And they're going to give it to the money man, Peyton Barber. And he busts through for about 7 down to the 45-yard line.
He gets into Raider territory.
And I mentioned it earlier.
46.
As much excitement as the Raiders have given us here at the end with the comeback.
42, Bryce Grouse.
When Milton gets the football, they know they can put it in number 25's hands. And the result is normally positive for the Eagles.
Alpharetta down to 1 timeout in this game. They trail by 7. Hope you've enjoyed this one as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. It has been an absolute barn burner here at Raiders Stadium in Alpharetta. Folks, stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. We're going to select our player of the game as well as wrap up all the action, and I do mean action, from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Chris, this has been one for the ages, and we're still not done here. 1:28 remaining. Another first down for Milton. 1 timeout remaining for Alpharetta. The key elements of where we are, 1.5 minutes.
2nd and 4 for Milton.
Are we on the brink of an epic comeback?
36.
Or is this going to be a victory that sends a shockwave through the Georgia High School Association football newswire on a Friday night? Keep it on the ground. Barber breaking tackles, carrying tacklers across the 45.
A host of Raiders led by number 42, Bryce Grouse.
And it looks like Alpharetta is going to go ahead and use their final timeout. And Milton will face a 3rd down and 2.
So what, 2 plays, 13 seconds. Raiders doing a good job of utilizing their timeouts.
Another timeout on the field. Timeout,
Kevin, it's simple.
Alpharetta.
Eagles get a first down, game's over. If they don't, they're probably going to have to kick the football.
Everybody in the park knows it. What an absolute nail-biter. And Chris, it's kind of a shame for the folks that emptied out half of the stadium here on the Alpharetta side of the football because they're missing a whale of a finish. And credit the Raiders. We talked about it. What kind of courage do those guys have? What are they made of? What do they believe in? And they have really shown it here tonight that they are truly a high-class football operation.
And Kevin, if Milton does hold on and win this ball game, I think the difference will be containment of the football because both teams have shown they have the big playability. But I think Milton showed a little bit more that they are able to hold the football, move the football, run the clock, and wear down the opposing defense. So I think that might be the difference if the Eagles hold on here.
And Chris, I didn't think I would say this coming out of this ball game, but I think Milton has more weapons, more effective weapons right now than Alpharetta. On 3rd and short, they give it to Barber. Nothing doing. He's lost the yard. But the clock continues to run, Chris. It'll probably be 1 minute or less.
Barron on the tackle for the Raiders.
They try to go back to the middle with Peyton Barber. 4th down and 3. And let's see what Milton elects to do. Looks like, Chris, are they going to go for it? I believe the offensive unit is staying in the ball game. How about that? The clock continues to run now, Chris. 42 seconds. 4th down and 3. A first down ends it. And we're going to have a timeout on the field.
Looked at possibly the Eagles.
And a delay of game penalty against Milton. So they let the clock run down to 36 seconds. Now they run the punting unit on. So a little gamesmanship there by the coaching staff on the Milton side. The ball sets at midfield.
And if you're Alpharetta, you put what? You're going to put 10 up on the line. You're going to go after the ball.
And Matt Moskowitz has done a great job here tonight punting the football. One more good coffin corner. Do not, by any means, kick it to Burse.
He's back there. You know he's just itching to get a chance.
And the ball is blocked. No flags on the play.
But fortunately, for Milton. And the ball rolled forward.
Boy, the punter Moskowitz took his time back there,
He
Chris.
did.
I was kind of swallowing my tongue. I didn't know what to say. He just stood back there with the football in his hand. And just the penetration was just huge.
Pressure from the outside from both sides.
And they converged on the punter.
Well, Kevin, all things considered, Alpharetta has about as much as they could expect in this situation. They used their 2 timeouts wisely. They almost got a block kick. They got the ball back in decent field position at the 31-yard line, 24 seconds to go, and anything can happen.
Well, Chris, we saw what the quarterback is capable of. Josh Dobbs showed us his Superman impression about a minute ago in football time. Can Alpharetta get it done? They need 7. They've got 24 seconds. They've got to go 69 yards. Here's Dobbs looking to throw. A flag is down. Looking for burst. Passes behind him. Incomplete. And the flag down in the backfield. That'll stop the clock with 18.4.
Crucial mistake. Not only do you lose 6.5 seconds on that play, you get marched back 10 yards and you have to do it again, Kevin.
So you cut 6 seconds out of your opportunity and you cost yourself 10 yards. And again, Chris, I'd have to say, if the self-inflicted mistakes, you're going to check that box on one side or the other. It's got to be Alpharetta tonight. Too many critical errors. Penalty yardage. Not only points off turnovers, but situations off of penalties that have changed in this one. So now they've got to go from their own 12-yard line.
You know, we saw a trick play last week that resulted in a touchdown early on in the Lakeside game.
The hook and lateral. Quarterback's in trouble. And he's just going to let this one fly. Close to the original line of scrimmage with 9.4 seconds remaining. Clements on the receiving end of that one. And Milton will give them that. They went to the outside. A nice catch there, but just too little too late here with no timeouts and the clock running against them. 9.4.
Good job by Dobbs to keep his balance, get away from the pressure, find his open receiver.
Could be the last play of the ball game. Dobbs rolling and throwing, has burst, incomplete at the 45-yard line. That will stop the clock with 3.7 remaining. And Chris, we talked about the energy and the noise emanating from this side of the football field early in the game. In about 3.7 seconds of football time, I think a pretty large racket is going to emanate from about 70 yards in front of us.
And maybe half of that racket will be a big sigh of relief, because for all intents and purposes, this game was over about 3 minutes ago. It really was.
3 minutes of football time ago, it was 35-14. Right now, Alpharetta down 7, 35-28. Should be the final snap of the ball game. Hail Mary down the far sideline, nobody even near it. And that will do it on the interception. The Milton Eagles have come into Raiders Stadium and defeated the Alpharetta Raiders by the score of 35-28. What a way to start the season for the Milton Eagles.
A valiant effort for the home team. Got to give them credit. They came back and made it interesting. They made Milton play football there in the last 3 minutes of the game. Kevin, some exciting football on both sides of the field, but ultimately, as I said, both teams had the ability to make the big plays, but when you need to contain, when you need to bring the ball down the field, when you needed to take time off the clock, when you needed to utilize your offensive line and your running backs, I think advantage Milton for this football game.
What an absolute classic to start the 2012 season here on PlayOnSports.com. This was one of them. Nobody thought the Milton Eagles were going to come in here and pull this off here tonight. Once again, your final score, the Milton Eagles 35, the Alpharetta Raiders 28. We will be back with the PlayOnSports.com post-game show right after this.